You're listening to the Gamecasters.
Natalie, Jeff, and Ryan are the Gamecasters, and they do a board game show, inboxes, and nooks and games, and top 5 lists, and sometimes there's fart jokes.
Oh, hey. What's up, guys? What are you doing here? Well, you're back for another episode? But we did the 100th. We're supposed to just keep going?
You're still listening?
Don't we get a break? Dance Monkey Dance? Okay. Hey there, gamers. Welcome back for more of your favorite abnormal board gaming podcast that sometimes talks about peepees and vajigis. We are a nonstop wheel churning out content bi-weekly, and we only do it bi-weekly so I can say it's bi-weekly and snicker to myself. As we start the journey anew at episode 101, we're forced to make new memories for episode 200 in a couple years, as we can't use clips from anything before this or it'll seem redundant and idiotic. So, if you guys think of anything hilarious like Number Blind, feel free to just let it out so I'll have something for that show. To that end, I have something that I think is pretty funny.
Okay.
The other day, I was at a concert with a good buddy of mine, and we were talking about how his wife works in advertising, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure she worked with one of Natalie's relatives. And he was like, oh, cool, what's her name? And so I told him, and he was like, awesome. Oh yeah, she was my wife's boss. It's Chris and Gwen.
Okay.
And and he was like, how does Natalie know this person? And I was like, oh, it's shit, I think it's her cousin. But I'll check. So I check with Natalie, who immediately texts back, and she's like, are you kidding me? How do you not know this by now? And before all of you at home are like, oh man, typical stupid guy, doesn't pay attention to anything, let me paint you a picture of Natalie's family tree, and you tell me if I should have this straight or not. So, on her dad's side of the family, she has a cousin who is about 15 years older than her and is best friends with her dad, his nephew. He has a 6-month-old son and a 20-something-year-old daughter who has 2 daughters herself, and so her cousin is a grandpa and is best friends with her dad, his uncle. Also, this cousin's 2 granddaughters are older than his son, who was just born in May. She also has 2 other cousins who come to all family functions, but their mom passed away long ago and their dad is not a blood relative, so these people come alone instead of spending the holidays with him. So mostly I'm like, who the hell are these people? Then she has another cousin who has inherited 3 older kids from her older husband she married, and we see them sometimes, but very rarely, and that person has a mysterious brother who I've never met, and this cousin that I'm supposed to know is half siblings with her brother, who is the grandpa that's best friends with his uncle, who is Natalie's dad, and oh, that cousin, the grandpa, has a 20-something-year-old daughter, and that daughter has a boyfriend, and I have no idea what the hell I'm supposed to call him or even her, and she's in her 20s, but it's Natalie's cousin's daughter. And don't forget, she also has 2 daughters, and the cousin grandpa has a son who is younger than those 2 granddaughters. Oh, and Natalie's dad's 2 sisters married 2 brothers of another family. So 2 sets of her cousins have the exact same family on both sides. And then on her mom's side, she has a cousin who is younger than her youngest stepchild, and that cousin's mom, her aunt, is basically my age, and she has another aunt who is younger than her mom, who is a great-grandma. The aunt has 2 daughters, and they have kids, and sometimes some of their kids have kids, and so her cousin, who is younger than Scarlett, is roughly the same age as her other aunt's great-grandchildren. And there is a nonstop drama with all of them, but keep it straight, Ryan! You don't even know who my cousin is! What the hell's wrong with you?
I don't understand how every single one of those people are not just your cousin.
No.
So who is this person?
It was
your third aunt once removed?
No,
cousin.
the person that Gwen knows is actually my cousin.
Actually was. Her keeping it all straight is like that episode of It's Always Sunny with Pepe Sylvia.
So he got it right, and he still got berated.
Yes, I got it right.
Well, no, he was just like, who is she, your cousin? Like, he wasn't sure. And I'm like, you don't know who that might... She's my cousin? Like,
and
who do you think she is?
You think that's weird? On her dad's side of the family, she has a cousin who is about 15 years older than her and is best friends with her dad.
He started saying all this stuff. I was like, yeah, I guess it's kind of crazy.
I guess it's kind of crazy.
There's some pretty weird stuff.
Kind of crazy.
I would just call everybody in my family your cousin.
Yeah,
her cousin.
Her mom's younger sister is a great-grandma.
What? Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, can't you keep it straight, Natalie?
She doesn't even know.
Yeah,
That's true.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Cryptid Urban Legends is over there the whole time.
The cousin who's a grandpa, he was a grandpa before my dad became a grandpa.
Yeah, right. That too. What? Yeah.
What is happening?
Exactly.
It's crazy.
It's like Pepe Sylvia. There's no Pepe Sylvia. Pepe Sylvia got tons of Pepe. That's what it is.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty crazy. It's funny because Ryan's like, I have 2 aunts and then they have some children and that's it.
Yeah, right.
For my family, it's like crazy.
I have cousins on my dad's side.
Aunt Diane.
Cousins on my mom's side. Aunt Diane and Aunt Chris, and they have some kids.
Yeah.
And then on my mom's side, I have Uncle Chris and Aunt Cindy and Uncle Tim, and they have some kids. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, that's all she wrote. And they're all appropriately aged.
Do you have
None of them are best friends with my...
So you have aunts and uncles that are younger than you?
No.
You don't? Okay.
No.
No, so they are.
So, okay, my mom is...
Never mind.
No, I haven't. I have one aunt who is only like a few years older than me, but she didn't marry my... So, like, my uncle is the youngest. My mom's the oldest, and they're pretty far apart. And then he married somebody that was, like, way younger than him, but they didn't get married till I was, like, 25. So, she's technically my aunt, but, like, I didn't, like, grow up with her or anything. So then they had a child very
Younger
late
than
in
Scarlett.
life. And so she's a few months younger than Scarlett. So she's literally my first cousin, but she just turned 6, like, last month.
That's
Keep
right.
it straight.
Yeah.
I'm 30 years older than
keep it
her.
down.
Keep it
Just keep it straight.
I contacted Natalie's sister Frankie about. I was like, I want to do this for the podcast. I need to write all this stuff about how confusing your fucking family is. And I was like, do I have everything? And she was like, yeah. And by the way, if you just pay attention, it's not that hard.
Oh my god! Of course.
The classic.
Shut up, dweeb. Jeez,
Sounds
OP.
exactly like
Oh, it's
something she would
it was
say.
totally
If you just
Frankie.
pay attention.
Yeah, if you just pay attention, it's really not that hard. LOL. Ha.
It's not that hard. Oh.
Stupid fucking loser.
Yeah, well, you're an idiot.
I remember growing up too, like I thought it was so weird that my aunts married 2 brothers, and so like my cousins had the same family on both sides.
That's
Because
weird.
usually like you have this side
It
and
feels
then,
incestuous. It's not.
Yeah,
I know, but
it's
it
not.
feels incestuous.
right. It's I don't know.
It's like one of them hooked up and they're like, do you have a brother from my sister?
Actually, yes. You want them to fuck?
Yeah, can we just do it all together?
Yeah. Why don't we all just fuck in the same room?
I bet they've banged all together.
I know that.
I bet the 4 of them have banged all
100%.
together.
And they might have accidentally banged the other one.
Yeah, like what if they are they
all
both
twins?
Is it 2 sets
There's
of
no-
twins?
all
no
4 of them are the
twins.
All 4 of them are twins. And they just married each
twins.
other. They love each other. Keep it Game of Thrones style. They're always married in.
yeah.
yeah. Oh, and then the one on my mom's side who
Keep it straight.
The one. There's like a
so
1,000.
okay, my cousin on my mom's side who's a grandma
cousin.
because I have 2 cousins that are
Cousin, grandma.
grandparents.
Yep. Cousin grandma. Yeah,
she
she's my
is
age.
like 40.
Yeah, she's my age and she's a grandma. So again, her aunt on her mom's side, who's younger than her mom, is a great grandmother.
Yeah.
It's fucking Anyway. What is up with you two?
Natalie, what do you got?
Oof. You guys.
Uh-oh.
Something happened to us this past weekend.
It did?
Yes.
Sex?
What do you mean
Us, like
did?
me? Was
Probably
it,
not.
Was it a 4-way with your...
So we were supposed to record the
That'd be
podcast.
awesome. That would be
Yeah,
sweet.
but you, Frankie, Kyle.
Yep, we're all
Natalie?
twins. Yeah, we
You're
all
twins?
Yep,
Yeah,
we
because
need to
all
have
the 4
sex.
of you. Yeah.
Yep.
Normal.
We were
Okay.
supposed to record the podcast on Saturday night. Our
Yes, we
power
were.
goes out every 5 seconds.
Every
It went out last Thursday
Yeah,
on
we
a
just went
bright
out
sunny
right now.
afternoon for no reason. We just hear
Right
a
now.
boom and it's out. So Saturday evening, Jeff's on his way here. It's really windy out,
I
and
knew it.
Ryan and I are like, the power's gonna fucking go out. I just know it. And he's on his way.
Well, I even thought, I don't mean to stop you, but I was even like, should I just tell Jeff?
I was kind
Like,
of
the
like,
power's going to go out on
You
his
did.
way
You were
here.
like, I think it's going to go out. It's out.
Yeah, right.
Well,
and then it was...
well, part of me,
yeah.
I was like, well, what if it doesn't? And then we send him away, you know?
Send him away.
Yeah.
Get away from us.
Away.
Yeah. So, anyways, he's on his way. Of course, power goes out, and we're like, Jeff, power's out. Just turn around. What are we supposed to do? It's like 6:15 ish on like Saturday night, right? So we're like, man, that fucking sucks. What are we gonna do all night?
Did.
This happens all the time. It's really
you're gonna do
fucking
it.
annoying. And so we're like, maybe we can go to someone's house. And like we were on a well and septic, so when we lose power, we also don't have water and can't
Yeah,
really
we
use our
can't
flush our
flush
toilets and stuff like that. So it's like really extra annoying.
That sucks.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not just dark. There's more to it. And so we call my sister and we're like, hey, are you guys doing anything tonight? You know, we lost power. Maybe we can come over and play games. And they were like, yeah, we're not doing anything.
We were
like,
so-
sweet.
we were
and so we were like, pick
fuck
out
yeah,
all
we
these
get to get out of the
games.
house. Hell
We're
yeah.
so excited. You know, we get in the car, we pull out of the driveway, go like, I don't know,
20
feet out of the
Yep.
down the street and stop because there's a giant tree that fell down and blocked the entire road. And we live on a
only
dead end
exit.
street.
Yep,
And
the
so we
only
were
way out.
trapped.
Yep.
Oh, boy,
And
fucking
so
trapped.
then
We all had to start mating.
Which timeout? Selfishly, if I would have already been here, I couldn't have left.
Yeah. We
yeah,
talked about
if
that
Jeff
later.
had been here,
Trapped here.
We
yeah,
talked
you would have been
about it
trapped.
later.
Our
Like trapped.
entire street was
literally
trapped.
could not leave.
Hostage.
Well, because it gets worse.
It gets
Yeah.
worse. Okay, I'm kind of embarrassed to tell you this part because me and Ryan
makes
almost
us look
ended
pretty
up as like one of those Darwin Award
Yep.
people.
That's my joke. I said it.
I know. Ryan said it. I'll give him credit.
Like
Okay,
it's a joke.
Yeah.
so we like Ryan like
Sassy
you know,
from Ted Lasso. Gotcha. I said it first.
so we stopped the car because we're like, fuck, there's a tree in the road. And so we like get out to like examine it to see like, oh, can we like drive around it or whatever? Because it's literally like from the grass to the grass across the entire road.
But there's
And-
some area where you could like get around in your kind of neighborhood. You might be able to kind of go around
If we, like,
there
drove
was
on
some
someone's
room.
grass.
That was what I was. I was like,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to drive on these people's with lawn. However, on
was
the
a bunch
right
of
side,
rocks.
it's just a swamp. So
Right.
you can't go to the
Yeah.
right. On the left side, there was brush, and I'm like, can we drive over this? And I'm looking, and there was like
Yeah.
jagged
It was like
rock.
it was like
I'm
little like a
fuck.
landscaping
Yeah.
thing with flowers.
So if we
and
drive over that,
rocks.
we might pop the tires, and
Right.
we're screwed.
So we're like getting out, looking at it, and I was like, I thought I grabbed a branch to like kind of move it, and so I'm pulling it, and like in our
It's
area,
also very dark outside.
It's also dark,
Right.
and in our area, there's a bunch of like vines that like wrap around all the
That's what vines do.
life,
Yeah.
like the trees
All
and
the life.
all the
everything.
life.
All like the
Vines.
plant life. So like I like pulled this branch and I was like, oh, it's a vine. So I just started like pulling it and pulling it.
Like one of those things when you like the colored things from a clown.
Yeah, and I was like, geez, this is a really long vine. And I like drop it, and as soon as I drop it, I was like, oh my God. I was like, that wasn't a vine. That was a fucking
You were pulling
The power
power
line?
line.
I saw the picture, and I was like, you guys are pretty close
And
to
I was
that
like,
power line.
I like freaked out. I was like, oh my God, that was not a vine. That was a power line.
Well, here's what's doubly stupid. Okay, so when we stopped to look at the tree, we'll tell the rest in a sec. When we stopped to look at the tree, the first thing I did was I looked up, and I'm like, okay, I see the power lines there. I don't see the tree on the power lines, and so I got out. That's when I got out of the car, and I was like, okay, the tree's not on the power lines. It was. It snapped one in half. That's why I didn't see it.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
it
what I was gonna
snapped
say.
one
Like
in
we didn't
half.
even. I thought it was just a tree. I didn't know there was like power lines down, and so
it was live.
No, if it was
I would have
live,
been
I
dead.
think so.
I think I would have died.
Would you have?
No, I
don't
seriously
know this.
think.
Can you touch a power line? Is there the coating on the outside?
I think you would have died. I'll tell you
I
why.
don't know. I think
Anyway,
yeah.
go ahead.
I'll tell you why. So
can't
we're
wait.
like, for a second I freak out, like, oh my God, that was a power line. And Ryan's like, oh shit. And so we start walking back to the car and we realize we're fucking parked on top of a power line too. And we're like, oh my gosh. So we like get in the car, drive back into the driveway. We're like, shit. Texting Frankie, like, we can't come over. We're trapped in our street.
Yeah.
And so we like, instantly like file a complaint with DTE, like the energy, like electric company.
Listen here, DT.
We're like, just letting them know there's also a down power line.
Now, complaint isn't the right word. We alerted them.
We alerted them of the
of
down power
situation.
line.
Yeah.
And then I was
Which they
like,
respond to because that's a hazard.
right,
It's not just
yeah.
like you don't have power.
But then,
now
but you're
there's a
just
down
like
power
putting
line.
something into a website,
Right.
So I'm like, I don't know how fast they'll be. We're fucking trapped. And that's why I Googled, like, what do you do when a tree's like, falling down, and something was like, call 911. And I was like, well, I'll just call the police department. So I called the police department. I told them about it, and they were like, okay, cool. We'll send the
Fire department out.
we'll send the fire department out.
Yep.
Don't go anywhere near it.
So don't pull it down.
I know.
So don't
pulled
drive.
it. I moved.
So don't
I pulled
park
it.
Yeah.
directly on top of it, and
Or
then you
parked
yank
on
it out of
and
the
then
tree.
I pulled it.
I
Is that
know.
okay?
Yeah. So then like she's like, we'll send the fire department out. And we're like, okay, thanks. And so like probably 5-10 minutes later, the fire department's there.
Yeah.
And so
We were very excited.
they're on the other side of the tree, obviously. And we see them like
Hey. Yeah, hello.
me and like another neighbor were like kind of standing there watching, and Ryan comes over and eventually the firemen walk towards us. And they were like, sorry, we can't do anything because we have this like tester to see if the wire is live, but they're like, it's not really that accurate, so we're not sure. And basically they were saying like it's too dangerous for us to move the tree.
The line was like intertwined
Entangled
in the tree.
Yeah. So they're like, it's too dangerous for us to move it without knowing for sure that it's not live. So, we contacted TTE. We can't
Did you
really
tell them, like, listen,
help
I
you.
moved it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I said that I touched it, and the guy was like,
Both of them.
He was like, oh my God. He was like, we could have been here for another reason.
They're like, you played
basically
lottery.
saying like,
You would have died.
Yeah, they were like, do you play the lottery? You should go play the lottery because you basically
Could
like you just
imagine,
dodged
like,
death.
'cause You're
Yeah.
standing there, and Natalie touches that thing, and all
And
of a
then
sudden she's
dies.
like,
I know.
Yeah.
I started like
Out.
freaking out.
Oh my
I started having
gosh.
like a panic attack later. I was like, I almost just instantly died.
I'd go touch it too to be with you. Just so you know. Would you do the same for me? Answer now.
wow.
Trust me.
This is going to get...
It was traumatizing. I will never go. That will never even
will never
be something.
pull on
Well, it's
Fine.
funny because
Wire ever
the
again.
first thing I did when we stopped the car was I looked up and I'm like, okay, the power lines all look there. I didn't think that one was snapped in two and was
Yeah.
already
Right. Yeah,
done.
same.
It'd
I wouldn't
probably
have
be
gone near
sparking,
it
right?
if
You would
I.
have seen it
That's what
sparking
Ryan
that's
was
what I
like.
think.
but
Yeah,
still,
and I would
it's
never
still
have gone
not-
near it if I even thought there was a line down. I didn't see it, and it was dark, and I didn't
boy.
know. And so, anyways, they were saying that stuff, and in my head, I was like, "Oh my God, I almost died! Oh my God!" And I was like freaking out. So, anyways, they left.
She kept going like, babe, I feel something in my arm.
No, I seriously
I feel it.
did.
I feel this in
My
my arm. I'm like,
whole
it's okay.
my
It's
whole
all-
right
you're done.
arm
It's
was
called
like felt like a
anxiety.
charge.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So,
I still feel it.
anyways,
It's been 2 hours and I still feel it's still there. I'm like, it's not just gonna all of a sudden be like, boom.
Yeah.
Like,
you have like
it's resting in your arm, and then it's gonna activate.
So you think that'd be like the end of the story? It's not. So we go home, nothing we can do. Blah blah
5 feet
blah.
back.
we fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, we end up, we hang out, we go to sleep, we wake up the next morning, and maybe it's like 8:30 in the morning, and immediately Ryan's like, I'm gonna go out and see if the tree's still there, because like, who knows, maybe DTE came in the night. And so
Gross.
he goes out there and he doesn't come back for a while. And I was starting to be like, oh my God, did he go touch a line and die? I was like freaking myself
Go
out.
touch a line. Oh, we touched
Natalie
a line.
did it. I can do it.
And so then
Natalie thinks she's all that.
then
I can do it too.
he comes back and he was like, dude, there's a bunch of drama going down.
I didn't call her dude.
Dude.
So apparently,
Bro.
he goes down there, and a bunch of our neighbors are down there, and there's like the tree.
Swinging from the
The tree is right by this one guy's house. There's like younger couple, and Ryan's like, I go down there, and all the neighbors are down there, and the tree's like halfway, like out of the road, like half the road's open, and I was like, oh sweet. And so basically, what happened was like this guy was like, I'm gonna, we're all trapped on the street. We can't move, and we don't have power, and so like, he started like chopping away at the tree. I think he like moved the line with a stick and nothing happened. So he just pushed it out of the way at the side of the road.
Cool.
And then he
This'll
started chopping down the tree to like, so we could get out and drive out of the street. And there was a person who was like supervising the line that was just like sitting in their car from DTE, but not in like a DTE vehicle. And she was like,
which is our electric company. Okay.
yeah. And she was like,
Good call.
you need to stop, don't do that. You're
Wait,
not allowed.
I want to tell it.
Okay.
It's
Go
my
ahead.
story.
Sassy.
God.
Hey, Les.
Save that lesson. So yeah, he's like moving the tree, and she's like, hey, stop doing that. And he's like, what? We're trapped in here. And then she didn't say anything to him. He's like, she just stone-faced at me like to stop it. And so then he went in his house and he got an axe, and he starts to chop the tree down with an axe, because he's like, well, fuck it. We're trapped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to get out. You're not giving me a reason why we can't do it. So she gets on her phone and she's calling the police on him, and she goes, he's got an axe.
Oh my
Like he's running at her with this. So he's like, oh my God. So I had to go like put the axe down and be like, okay, I'm not doing it. So then the cops come and they're yelling at him, and they're like, you're the reason that this is going to take so long now. You better apologize to all your neighbors here, because you're making this hold up. And where I'm like,
We're
what?
like, how?
Why? What do
He
you
actually
mean?
did
He's
you a
actually
favor.
done
We
something.
can get out now.
So for like the next 2.5 hours, they just sat there and did nothing. They did nothing. They just sat there in their car, blocking the road. So
even
he
if
had
we could
chopped the tree up enough, and he moved the power line out of the way. Everybody could get out, except they had the like caution tape up.
Yeah.
But we could rip the caution tape down, because one part of the caution tape was on this dude's truck.
Yeah, tied it on his
He
mirror.
tied it on his mirror, so he like ripped it down.
Yeah.
And so we could just easily just like and get out. But the DTE trucks were blocking the road behind the tree on purpose, so we couldn't leave.
That's dumb.
And then another DTE truck comes who's actually going to fix the line, I think. And he was like, checked everything out, and he's like, yeah, you guys are fine. You
Everything's
can
fine.
leave.
Go ahead. It's like,
Of course.
And so
Thanks,
then we
guys.
leave,
Yeah,
we go
thanks.
get some
So
lunch, and by the
wonderful
time we come
supervisor.
back, the power's
power's
back
on. Yeah, everything's fine.
End of story. But
Now we
like,
can
we were
record the
fucking trapped
podcast.
for like, I don't know.
A day? Half a day?
Yeah,
It's
was
funny
it,
because after you
16
look back on it,
hours?
it's like we weren't
Was
trapped
that?
very long.
But-
But in the moment, it's like this could go on for weeks.
Well, because when you have an unknown
What are we going to
time,
Die here.
yeah.
I was like, the only thing we can do is we can kayak
know.
from the beach to the boat launch where it's not where you're not trapped.
Yeah.
And then we could just have someone pick us up there.
Right.
Like I could have called you and been like,
can
Jeff,
rent
meet
a
us at
car.
the boat
Yeah.
launch.
Yeah.
So you can pick us up, and then you can take us to do some stuff.
Right.
That's
oh my
crazy.
gosh.
It's
Isn't
fucked
that
up.
crazy? Oh, I didn't tell you this real quick. I was telling someone at work today about it, and I guess Erin, our HR person at work, she used to work for DTE, and I guess, and this must be what that lady was. She's like, I guess, whenever something would happen like this, where a bunch of people lost their power, every single person who worked for DTE, no matter what position they were, had to be on call, and they might be called to supervise a down wire.
poor
And so
ladies.
like Aaron as HR could have been called to like supervise this down wire. So this lady could have just
sucks,
been like a
but-
Yeah, just
nobody,
some
like
rando.
a secretary or whatever.
Can use common sense and
Yeah.
handle the situation better.
No, I wasn't there. This is
I mean,
all
we weren't
secondhand from the
there,
guy.
yeah.
But it sounded like he was just like, listen, we're trapped. Are you doing anything for us? And she was just like, I'm not telling you shit.
Yeah, could she just be like, I can't?
Yeah, like,
She
I'm
probably was like,
sorry.
I have no
I would
idea.
love to help you. I know
Yeah.
this is frustrating.
Listen,
I can't
sweep
believe
the floors
this.
at DT. I'm
Right.
just sitting in the
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
even the police, I mean, I wish they would have been more like, hey, I know you were trying to help, but like you're not allowed to do this
stop.
because it can be dangerous.
Yeah,
But
you
I
can kill
understand,
yourself.
instead they were like, what are you doing? You're ruining it forever. It's like, oh my God, like, can't you see that he was just being like, I want to help my neighbors
Yeah,
out.
we want to
'cause
like
none of
get
us
out
can
of
leave,
here.
Yeah.
So that was our crazy
So
weekend.
all you fucks
And
were
that is-
pissed at us for not recording.
That is why we couldn't record.
Why we're recording late.
What do you got, Jeff?
Nothing.
Anything happening?
I have like nothing. We watched The Watcher on Netflix.
What's the-
over on TV?
Oh, I was wondering about
is
It's
that
about this
one?
person that moves into a house and then they're getting like letters from this person that's watching
It's
the
a
house.
real,
Oh,
Kinda
right.
based on a
creepy.
real story.
Yeah, and that's what kind of made me a little bit interested in it after I watched the first couple
I read
episodes. I was
about
like,
the real
it's okay.
story.
And then the real story kind of made me want to finish it. It's fine.
Is it
It's a
scary?
fine watch. Nope, it's not scary.
Okay.
There's a couple like just kind of
Like
maybe
thriller type
suspenseful,
stuff.
thrillery moments of trying to figure out who this person is.
Yeah.
But there's no like, there's not a lot of like jump scaring or
Mm-hmm.
screaming or anything like that. It doesn't all happen in the dark, right?
Yeah.
But
Did
it's
you
a,
watch-
It's a neat
Did
story.
you start White Lotus?
No, I haven't, but I will.
There's only 2 episodes so far,
Okay,
but
yeah,
I like it.
I will because I like the
It's-
first
It's
season.
good like the first one so far.
So yeah, The Watcher. If we finish The Patient, which I think is worth watching.
Oh, yes.
For sure.
So I'm gonna say I'm annoyed at some people on the internet.
Okay. Which
I went
one?
on IMDb and I looked at some of the reviews for The Patient because I thought Steve Carell did a wonderful job acting
Oh,
in this.
yeah.
I thought the other guy was creepy and did a great
And
job.
did you know the other
And
guy was the oldest Weasley in Harry Potter?
Nope, I wouldn't. Have
And he,
Weasleyed
I
that.
know. And he, what was the other
Oh,
thing?
yeah, he was in Star Wars episode
Star
7.
Wars, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's a kind of a unique looking fellow.
Yep. He sure is. He did great.
But I thought he did great. So I'm
really
kind of
liked
looking
it.
Yeah,
like,
me
all
too.
right, what did people think of the show? And it doesn't get great reviews.
Huh.
Really?
And there were numerous reviews that were upset at this show because it came out weekly and it was only 20-something minutes. And they were like, the payoff for 20 minutes every week isn't there. And it's like,
What?
I thought it was a
bitch,
pretty
we
decent
watched show, like,
cliffhanger.
how
Forever.
spoiled
That's all.
are you?
That's all we
that
did.
You want 10 episodes of 40 minutes, and then you're going to complain about it being too long. I'm like, I liked it. It was like 20 minutes and kind of done.
Yeah.
Because a ton of stuff didn't happen in the show.
Right.
It was about
It
the
didn't
characters.
drag on
But it was
in
there
each
was
episode.
5 or 6 comments of people complaining that this show was only 20 minutes and it came out every week.
That speaks to
I'm
the
like,
that
that
TV
is-
we're currently in.
yeah, I'm like,
There's probably like a
that was
20-year-old.
our entire lives.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Right.
We are so fucking spoiled now.
Plus,
with
if you
how
don't want to
fast
wait,
TV
And they
just
rated
wait
it
till
like
it's
a 1.
over and then watch it all
yeah,
at
and it was
once.
like a 3. And I'm like, come on.
Oh man, we need to do the patient beatdown.
So that's annoying. But I thought The
Patient
Patient was really good.
That was a great show.
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
good too.
I like that it was one and
well
done,
done.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
just
kind of
a
like, I hope they don't
miniseries.
drag this out for 2 or 3 seasons. That would be a
No,
bummer.
that wouldn't make sense.
Shut it down.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I really got. We're creeping up on Thanksgiving break, which I'm really excited for because everybody kind of needs. This is a long stretch of
Yeah.
school.
Yeah,
everybody
the
kind of
beginning,
needs a pause button.
And I always feel like after Thanksgiving happens, it's a tiny little blip before Christmas.
Yep, and then there's
Oh,
like
yeah.
breaks here and there, at least for
Yeah,
the
then
kids and
there's,
and me.
winter break, spring break.
Selfishly, like winter break, you have like MLK Day, which will be Nerd Fest. You get a
Yes.
little midwinter break in February and spring break. So there's like little kind of breaks, but this stretch from the beginning of September,
You're
to
right, there's nothing.
There's nothing, and it's just like straight school.
Yeah,
and
it's
a
like
lot.
3 straight months.
Right, because even Halloween, you have school.
Yeah, so it's a long stretch. If you're a teacher out there, you know this is a tough stretch. We're all just making it to Thanksgiving.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of it.
Damn. So, you guys, it's been a while since I've told a D story.
Ooh.
Someone in the Discord is going through the episodes,
In order.
and they're like at episode like 66 or 67 or something like that. I can't remember who it is.
It's
Is it Slapian? Dan Day? One of those guys?
no, is it the one starts with a P? Is it that one? That guy? Pagodia or something like that?
Penis?
Penis?
Yes.
penis.
Somebody
with a big
Pagoda,
penis.
maybe. Yeah, somebody with a
Pagoda?
big penis. New listener is going back to the back of the catalog and catching up, which is, man, is that cool.
Yeah.
That's cool, because I honestly think that we only get better.
I know. I was like, he didn't even get to like the best of us yet.
He hasn't
I feel
even
like we
heard-
like improved greatly.
There's a lot of
since
stuff
then.
he hasn't heard. I mean, there's good stuff back there.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff. From going back and doing the episode 100
Yeah.
back, I'm like, man, there was some really funny moments. But yeah, I always it's cool that he's doing that. But anyway, he said in the Discord, he's like, one of the things I love is these D stories. They're so funny. And then somebody in the 100 episode said that too in inbox.
Okay.
He's now.
Yeah.
I don't feel like this was his name before, but he's the Diced Onion.
I know the dice.
Oh, he's the Diced Onion.
Diced
now.
Onion.
Okay, yeah, he
I talked
changed
to him
his
on
name.
Instagram.
Oh,
for a while.
okay.
I think he changed his name because you're right. Maybe he was Pagoda. Anyway, whatever. So what I want to do is I want to tell another D story. My plan, honestly, is to write a book, and this isn't a joke. I mean, it's going to be kind of written in a jokey manner, but I want to write a book about these D stories, and I don't know if it's going to be as good if you're not hearing me say them, but I'm going to try to write this book in such a way that I convey the emotions the voice. I know the voice is one thing, but I do the emotions. I'm going to convey the emotion in a way that I'm hoping will be at least a entertaining read, you know? And so I have compiled a list of these stories. Some of them are like one sentence. So this book is going to be a what I'm calling the D, a short-tempered stories. Short-tempered stories by the D. And so I told a few on the podcast already. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to let you two pick the story that I tell. I'm just going to give you a 2-word synopsis, so you'll know maybe what they'll trigger what these stories are, or if you just there's something that you think might be funny. I want you guys to pick. So here's what you're going to pick from the following list.
Okay.
The trampoline door slam, grass cutting murder and sleep, spraying the hose at geriatric neighbor.
Okay.
Roscoe and the weed, harsh abrasive shit. There's a lot of these. Money order conundrum, wall tile mystery. Mulch heist.
How many are these?
There's so many.
How are we supposed to remember all these?
Yeah, anyone that sticks out.
Have you heard
anyone that sticks out?
I know a few of them that he said.
Okay, I'll give you one. Right. Elevator conflict, the flavors, bass guitar tree wrap, everything is Grand Theft Auto, infinite hard drive defrag, mail order bride rating genius, the gazelle.
We've heard the mail order bride rating.
Yeah, I think we told that on the
Did I tell that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like an 8.37.
Yeah, it's like, look at that, 8.735. This guitar sounds like shit. I'll rub your back if you rub my cock. Don't worry, the safety is on. Oh, that was funny. Racist Navajo hospital sound. There's only 3 more. Weekly California money, $20 asshole tax, and who was on the phone? Do any of these? Okay. Do any of these pique your interest?
They all pique my interest.
Yeah, which one you want? Are we just doing one, or are we each picking one?
Yeah, do one. You pick one together.
Oh God.
I like. So I think I need to hear some of them because I know a lot of them. But the GTA one was interesting.
GTA.
Everything is Grand Theft Auto.
Oh,
everything is Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
The flavors. Has me intrigued.
Flavors. Is
good. The flavors.
Should we do that
one? Something about something wrapped around a tree.
Oh, bass guitar wrapped around a tree. That's one of the classics.
Do you know that one? Mm-hmm. Oh, let's not do that then.
You don't want Jeff to know it.
Okay. Well, I was someone that neither of us recognize.
Okay, you've narrowed it down to the flavors. And what was the other one you said?
Everything is Grand Theft Auto.
Everything is Grand Theft Auto. Yeah,
Let's do the Grand Theft Auto.
Everything is Grand Theft Auto. Okay.
Oh, wait, you said you know that one.
He does know that one.
Yeah.
I
know a lot of
You know
them,
what?
so...
These 2 are short.
Okay.
I'll do both of these.
Right.
Okay. So I'll start with Everything is Grand Theft Auto. Jeff knows this one. All right. So a long time ago, when the PlayStation 2 was still the hot system, there was this game that came out called Grand Theft Auto 3. And back in the day, before board games were a thing with our group, we were a video game group.
Yep.
We all played video games like crazy. That's all we did. That was like our main hobby in our group. And then poker took over for a while. Anyway, so when Grand Theft Auto 3 came out, it was this huge deal in the video game industry. It was revolutionized video gaming for a while. It was this humongous deal, okay? And so my dad, who was not aware of anything video game related, it was so big, he was even aware of this game. And he sometimes would get attached to something. So, for instance, the song More Than Words by Extreme, that was the only song he listened to from 2006 to 2010. Oh, buddy, you heard that song More Than Words? Man, that's got some harmonies, right? That's all. And I'm like,
really
yes, okay, yes, I know. It is good until you listen to it 8,000 times.
For 4 years
straight. So, when he got hooked onto something, he would tell it to you like it was the first time you've heard him say this. Okay? So Grand Theft Auto 3 might have been the first time this happened. Okay? So Grand Theft Auto 3 comes out and he'd be like, hey, buddy, you got that game Grand Theft Auto 3? You get that one yet? And I'm like, yeah, I do. It's great. So the first few conversations were I'm like, wow.
He knows
Grand Theft Auto 3.
He's taking an interest in my interest.
For the next 3 to 4 years. It didn't matter what game I got. I'm playing FIFA. Okay, and he comes downstairs and he's like, "Oh, what's this? kind of reminds me of Grand Theft Auto 3. And he's looking at my friends like, whoa, they're going to be impressed. And they were just kind of like, what? This is soccer. What are you talking about? And so then, like, another game would come out, and he would come downstairs and it'd just be like deer hunting. And he'd be like, oh, man. The graphics on this. You know what that reminds me of? And I'm like, what is that? He's like, this kind of looks like Grand Theft Auto 3. And it was like the exact same.
For you and your friends looking at each other like, what?
We knew after a while, it was like, here we go.
Here comes Grand Theft Auto 3.
This is Grand Theft Auto. And so forever, that's all every time we would get a new game, we'd be like, oh man, this one's pretty good. You know what it reminds me of though? Grand Theft Auto 3. That's right. Oh yeah, it looks just like that. Wow, 8.375.
So that's funny you say his voice like that, but this is not what he sounds like.
No, nothing. That's my stupid retelling of his voice. Okay, so that's everything is Grand Theft Auto. This is another one that's really short but so fucking funny. It's called The Flavors. Okay,
The Flavors.
So one day, so my dad was very, very, very passionate about anything he was passionate about. Like he wasn't the kind of guy who was just like, hey, how's it going? How you doing? What's going on?
He's
if
like
he was
you.
angry, he was like, you thought he was going to kill you. If he was happy, you thought he was
going to kill you with happiness.
You thought he was like doing
I think you get that from him. I feel like when you get into something, you're like all in.
Yeah, if I think about murder, I'm going to fucking kill you. Fucking done. No, I think, yeah, you're right. And so anyway, so he was very entertaining in that way. And so one day, me and my buddy are just like hanging out playing Grand Theft Auto 3 or, something, nothing like that. And my dad comes home and he's like, doop-a-dap-a-doop-a-dee-boo. He always doop-a-dap-a-doo, everywhere he went. Ah-dap-a-dee-ba-dap-a-dee-bow, shoop-a-dap-a-dap-a-dee-ba-dap-a-dee-ba-doo. And he's like swirling this loaf of bread in his hand. Like he's holding it by the end of the bread and he's swirling it. It's like this new piece of bread. And he is like, he just looks like he won $1 million. He's like, slam, pops it on the counter. And me and my buddy Chris are like, what's he doing? And he's like, you guys, come in here right now. And so we go in the kitchen. We're like, what's up? He's like, you have got to try this new bread. You have to try it. Oh my God. He's like, you guys, the flavors in this bread. Wait till you try this bread. And he's so happy. And he's like opening the loop and he's like, and he like takes the bread out and throws it on the counter and he's slicing it up for us all nice. And he takes the first bite. He's like, and he all of a sudden just kind of goes like, well, it doesn't really have any flavor, actually. But, that was the end.
Why did he think it had flavor?
I don't know. I think it might have said something on there like most flavorful bread in the industry. And he was just like, oh, really? Okay, here we go.
You really fell for advertising.
Oh my gosh, did he ever? He's like, well, it doesn't really have much flavor, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, perfect customer.
We laughed about that for years because he was
what kind of bread was it?
Dude, it was just like a loaf of Wonder Bread.
It was like white
It
bread.
wasn't like Wonder Bread. It was like it was bread that was in a loaf that wasn't sliced.
Oh, so it seemed fancier.
So yeah, so I'm sure to him
bread.
it seemed fancy, and it was bread that you could apparently spin around and smack on the counter, and it didn't do anything to the structural integrity of the bread.
That was where the flavors holding.
That's where the flavors were in there. He was like, "You guys have to try this," as if he had tried it. And then he takes it, and he's like, "Well, there's not much flavor."
Yeah, I have heard him talk about something that he did find
out of bread.
I mean, bread is good, I guess, but like he was so fucking happy. He was so happy about the bread. Oh my gosh! So those are two.
It reminds me of the turkey jerky, where he just
turkey perky jerky.
He just went insane over how good this Costco turkey jerky
on the phone in the car. We were like,
he just talked about it for like 5 minutes straight.
You guys got to get this perky turkey jerky. Oh, it's so good. There's some turkey perky jerky.
I think you just had it on speakerphone, and we were just like,
yeah, just like cracking. What is perky turkey jerky? Turkey perky jerky. It's very perky. It's turkey jerky. It's perky. So we don't just tell these stories on the show. Oftentimes, we also play board games.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I have a love-hate relationship with flat-out games, as their first effort, Calico, disappointed me greatly. But then they followed it up with the delightful Cascadia, which Natalie and I really enjoyed. So I have been waiting patiently for their third offering to get here, so I can make up my mind once and for all on whether or not I'm going to continue to patronize this publisher by continuing to give them Natalie's hard-earned money, or whether or not I'm going to patronize them with Natalie's hard-earned words of condescension that she normally saves for me after a poor performance the night before.
It's a sex joke.
oh my God.
Well, that third game finally showed up, called Verdant. Is that how you say it? Verdant? Verdant?
It better not be Verdant. That sounds like rodent.
Justin Verdant is
one of my favorite pitchers.
He's won the World Series.
Yeah, Verdant.
Look at him go.
Verdant.
And as I read jovially...
married to Kate Upton?
Yep.
Oh,
yeah,
Verlander.
And that lucky fuck. Verdantler.
He's winning World Series, and
he's going to get Cy Young Awards. God, what's he? He's pretty good. He's wins.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Verdant. As I jovially read through the rules, I was pleasantly surprised at how much movement was happening in my peninsula of masculinity, and was all but poking a glory hole in the box top before Natalie came down, caught me, threatened to leave me again if I didn't stop. So after weeks of couples therapy, we finally got the game to the table, and this is how it went. In Verdantlers, players are trying to score the most points by positioning houseplant cards and room cards in a 5x3 alternating checkboard grid like any good houseplant enthusiast. Each plant has a lighting requirement that, if positioned adjacent to a room that outputs the same lighting condition, gains victory or verdancy tokens, which are these little like feng shui leaf plant things. And each verdancy token on a plant will make the plant score points at the end of the game. Each room also has a certain type of plant it wants to be adjacent to, so the puzzle is trying to get plants of a similar type next to rooms that want that type that output the lighting requirements the plant needs to both maximize verdancy as well as scoring potential for the rooms. However, the grid you're building must be 5x3, so you can't just build anywhere. And that constriction eventually gets in your way as you can't do everything. On your turn, you are selecting a card as well as a token from a shared pool. This part of the game really has a Cascadia vibe. Once you select the card, you must place it somewhere in your grid, and the tokens do a variety of different things, such as doubling a multiplier on a room card to simply giving you 3 verdancy tokens to place on 1 houseplant card. Players also score points at the end of the game if they can manage to get all 5 houseplant and room cards types in their grid by the end of the game. They also score points for how many distinct tokens that they have on their room cards. To spice the game up a bit, there are common goals you can introduce, as well as a potless plant expansion type thing. The game tells you that this is like the advanced way to play the game, but if you've ever played games before at all, include them every single time, as they maybe increase the weight from like 2.13 to 2.15.
It's like an 8.1.
It's really, it's like an 8.35. Oh, okay, 2.15. I don't know why they call that advanced. It's just a couple of like common goals. Like, okay, just also try to go for this. You know, it's like, it doesn't like increase the weight like crazy.
Sometimes when they call it advanced, you're like, okay, well, let me play the
base.
I'm
going to play the base game
advanced
first.
Advanced sometimes is just like a normal
one, like a normal game, exactly. So things I liked. This game has a lot to like, actually. It borrows a lot of what I liked from Cascadia, from the draft of the card and token at the beginning of your turn, to these little thumbs up tokens that allow you to manipulate the cards and tokens on your turn, to the way you are placing the cards next to each other in a way to score points. It felt very similar while still feeling different enough that it didn't feel like a copy or a rip-off, but more like another song from a band you like. You can tell it's similar, but it's not exactly the same. The funny thing about this is that they're different designers, but they still have a very similar feel. Things I didn't like. The game was good, for sure. Good game. However, I never really found myself like super enjoying the experience. The puzzle of where to place your cards was fun, and the freedom that those thumbs up tokens gave you to mess with how you received cards and tokens was also cool. I just remember when I played Cascadia, I was like, oh yes, this is great. This feels really good. This one did not have that output for me. There's a lot of similar ingredients in Verdant as there are in Cascadia, but something in Verdant's recipe makes the results not quite as tasty as Cascadia's. The game looks really good and can definitely stand on its own, but I think if you have the option of this or that, Cascadia is the better game. I like this better than Calico, though, if comparing all three, and it definitely fits with them, feeling both familiar yet different. I just know that we loved Cascadia, and we haven't really revisited that one that much, and it's probably like 30th on our list of games we want to play again, and we loved it. Right? So that one really has this one has no chance for us, I think. Overall, I did enjoy the game. And if you really enjoyed Calico and Cascadia, I think it's a pretty safe bet that you're also going to enjoy this. But other than the theme being kind of fun, I would never pick this over Cascadia. So, I don't know, I like 7.25. I don't think 7.25. So, good night, great for me. What do you think, Natalie?
Yes, I agree with the good night, great rating. First of all, I loved the art. I just really love plants. I'm not a very good person at keeping plants alive, but I just love them. And these had just like a bunch of like house plants, and it was super cute, and the leaf tokens were super cute, and so I really liked the look and the theme of this game.
When I think cute, I think houseplants.
Houseplants.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Oh.
Sweet, look cute, like, oh, I want to cuddle you. Let's just go cuddle.
Dog. Look at this fern.
Can we cuddle, please?
Look at this fern.
Rhododendron.
I think, okay, so I also think I liked Cascadia better. I agree that it's like it's very similar, but I think the reason I like Cascadia better was because this was like slightly simpler than Cascadia. Cascadia felt also like it was a little bit more flexible because it had like those like hex tiles, so you're not just like placing like on top or next
True.
kind of thing.
And there's no restriction. You can kind of place wherever the fuck you want.
Right.
This one had a 5x3 restriction.
So it just felt like there was like kind of more choices, but I don't know. Again, I thought this was a good game, and I agree with you. Like if you like Cascadia and Calico, you'll probably like this game, and I liked this game too. But I didn't, play it and was like blown away or anything by it. I wasn't like, oh yeah, I can't wait.
And
to
that's
play
what
this
it
again.
takes to stay in our collection.
Yeah,
it's got to blow us away.
But I would recommend it. For someone who likes those games.
Yeah, I think so too.
And especially if you like the theme. I don't know. I thought it was a good game.
Yeah, is the question when you're deciding how many light, medium games in that category do you need?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're going to quantify it like that, that's
Right.
exactly
But it had that,
it's like, okay, we have games that feel similar to this, like Calico,
'cause it
or not
didn't-
Calico, like Cascadia,
Yeah.
and we already don't play that.
Right.
And
but
if you like that more,
And we like it
then
more.
you'd
Yeah, so
it
then
would
why
even
would
be
I
below
have
that.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So
But
why
it
would I
did
have
have
never
like that familiar
Yes.
feeling of several other games that we've played where, like you have to, like you said, you pick the tile with the card and then you put it in the best spot to maximize your points, but it's going to get like to a point where you're going to have to place it somewhere and it's not going to get you what you want. And, just like that whole song and dance, but like it's still, that's fun. I like those kind of games.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Very cool. So that's Justin Verdanter. I think it's Verdant.
Yeah. I think
But
so too.
I hate the way it sounds coming out of my mouth.
Sorry, do we what is that?
I Googled it when we played
Verdancy
it.
is like, it's kind of like feng shui for plants, I think.
Remember when I said what something was, and then Natalie Googled it and then said it out?
Yeah.
That was great.
It's green with grass. It's like basically
Green
like
with
of
grass.
countryside. Okay, of the bright green color of lush grass,
Oh, so it's like
or green with grass or other rich vegetation.
Okay.
so it's just like a surround, like
It's
a
an
grass-
adjective.
Oh, okay.
I
don't like
I
it.
wish I don't like the way it's. I don't like the name.
That's kind of interesting that the name is an adjective.
Anyway, that's Verdant.
Let's talk about another game that has a weird name that I am not
Probably
sure
messed
that
up.
we're saying.
I'm pretty sure we are.
So,
because
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
So this game is called Orichalcum,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Orichalcum. No clue.
Well,
okay?
so I looked at it and I was like, I think that's Orichalcum.
Yes.
But I just
when you
guessed.
said it, you came in and said it, and then I don't know if it was you or Dave was like, "It's a mineral," and I was like, "It's exactly what it is."
Yeah.
Orichalcum.
Okay.
Dave
is-
looked that up, and I looked at the
maybe-
pronunciation.
Is it Greek? It's some like mineral that was used that kind of important in it might be Greek mythology or something like that. Where so. Yes. If the mineral is called
Yes.
orichalcum, this is what the game is called.
Yeah.
It is spelled Orichalcum. Okay.
What's the last three letters?
Cum.
No. I'm sorry. The final three letters.
Oh yeah, it spells. Sorry, Raina. Who works at I told Ryan this at
It's Ryan.
Joe's
it's Ryan's
24-hour game night that I was like, you know what? I like Raina. She's a nice person. She sent me this game. I'm
not
working with
her
Pandasaurus. I like it. And this game, of course, has the last three letters of cum, and you're on the Gamecasters, so now it's all ruined.
And oral's kind of in there.
Yeah, it's like oral
kind
cum.
of oral
The whole game is like oral cum. Great.
That's how it's pronounced.
Sorry. Luckily, she sent me two games, so I get one more at least to talk about at some point. So this game's called Orichalcum. Okay? Now that's all you can hear. People are going to be driving and they're gonna be like, well, I guess it's called Orichalcum.
Oh my god.
Hey, this is there. No, what is it? What is the no press is bad press or something like that or
Something.
Yeah,
no
that's-
something.
Sweating.
Me too, dude.
Me too, but I think it's 'cause I'm
Something we
drinking.
can't talk about it, but something hilarious. Jeff makes me laugh like crazy on the regular. Just he can send me into hysterics, and he did so before we started recording. And I didn't say this. I was
yeah.
like dripping in sweat.
Natalie and I are
before
kind of
we
drinking. I'm like
started.
sweating. I can't
Yeah,
take this anymore.
the drinking makes me warm.
Orichalcum. Okay? Take it easy.
Oh my god.
Let's get through this together.
Take it easy. You said that when you looked at me. I'm the one taking
Orichalcum.
it.
Yeah, Natalie, come on, what the fuck?
Now,
Ryan's like,
this game is brought to you by Pandasaurus. Okay? It's hot. It's brand new. Like brand new as in you might not even be able to get it. I got it. Haha. I don't know. I don't know when, but very, very soon. Like it's, I believe it was an Essen release
face.
over there. It's coming out over here.
Gotcha.
You can get it very soon. So I'm not like that ahead of the game. but I am cooler than you. Now, Pandasaurus, I've always thought of as just the Dinosaur Island people.
Okay.
Right? In my head, I'm always like, they do that.
Yeah, they do.
They've come out with some cool games.
Oh, they got good
lately.
stuff. Yeah.
They also
And-
have good bags from Gen Con.
Great bags.
Yeah, they do. Their bags
Great
are
booth.
amazing.
They demo a bunch of stuff at Gen Con. I'm sure they do the same thing at Essen, where they have like tables on tables where you can just like play their games, and that is so cool. And
Don't
recently
they put out
I
the Mind?
played. Are they?
I think no. Are they? Do they not do the Mind?
They did do the Mind. Yeah.
Oh, they
I think
did?
do the
They
Mind.
do.
Yep.
Don't they have
And
the
the game.
orange
And the game.
dinosaur looking thing?
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
the dinosaur thing.
Yeah. And so recently we played Skate Summer, which I really enjoyed so far. I got this new one called Wild Style, which I haven't played yet, but I'm excited about that.
Wild
That's like
Style.
graffitiing and
Bag of chips.
Bag of Chips is blue orange. This is Nacho.
They have
Pile.
another one, Nacho
I have
Pile.
Nacho Pile, which
Nachos.
we're gonna play soon.
Did I play Nacho Pile or Bag of Chips?
We played Bag of Chips.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the one that we'll talk about later, like on a different show called Splitter, which is Pandasaurus.
Yeah, right.
So I like kind of their line. I know that Dino Island is their heavy hitter and kind of their evergreen game, but I'm liking kind of I'm becoming a Pandasaurus
I like them
fan.
too. Yeah, I think that's a great publisher for sure.
Well, I was. Sorry, Randy.
Now it's up in the
anyway,
air.
no, let's talk about Orichalcum. Let's just say it faster. Is that better? Orichalcum.
It still ends in cum,
God damn
which
it.
is great.
This game is designed by Bruno Cathala,
oh,
who kind of used to be my boy.
Yeah, he was
We
your
don't
boy.
talk about Bruno.
We kind of. I've read 2 points of my.
I know.
So Bruno Cathala,
She's
no, you
drinking.
can talk all you want. He used to be my boy. He's been hit or miss lately with some games.
yeah.
And I don't know if it's because I've sort of gotten out of maybe his like light medium kind of rate.
Yeah,
games.
you. I remember you made him your boy. He was your boy way long ago.
Yeah, it was
You
like
know?
I played 5 Tribes. I played some of the game. And like this is
Did he do
this
Ishtar?
guy's good. Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, this guy's good. I like kind of where he's going. And this one goes back to some of the things I think he's really good at, like in Ishtar. Not necessarily as heavy as 5 Tribes, but it's also designed by a guy named Johannes Goopy.
Goopy, the Gooper.
He's a nobody.
Wait, Orichalcum, Goopy,
Yeah.
Goopy.
Well. Let me eat this. Okay.
Sorry.
So, Orichalcum is annoyingly advertised as a quick 4X game on Board Game Geek. I don't like that. I'm not calling it that. I'm going to call it a tile placement area building game.
okay.
I don't like, even when Tapestry called itself a 4X game, I'm like, okay, but are you? Right.
Yeah.
There are some, you put the idea in people's mind
Right.
about 4X.
And it builds buzz,
So
yeah.
I don't want to call it a 4X game that plays in 40 minutes because you're not going to feel that. You're going to feel more tile laying, area building sort of game.
Well, I think that's a good idea too because it pisses people off when
Yeah,
they don't get that.
Yeah, I don't want you to start off on the wrong foot.
Yep.
And I read some reviews of some people who kind of were annoyed by that, and then the rating came down. So I don't want to talk about it like that. I want to talk about it as a tile placement, area building game, or a Orichalcum.
Okay.
Now, players compete to get 5 points. That's all you need. If you get 5 points,
5
Natalie,
points.
you become champion of the world.
That's all you need.
That's not very
There's some
much.
other title for what you are, but champion of the world is what you are. Each player starts with their own giant island board. Your personal player board is humongous. Like I don't want to say too big, but it's like huge. You feel cool as you're building this island. They're all 4 unique, which I like. They're 2-sided. One is an easier side, one is a harder side. I like that as well. There is a market set up with some building tiles and cards on them. On your turn, what you do is you choose a card from the market, and on that card, it has an exploration tile and an action. So similar to a game I talked about a few episodes ago, Evergreen, where you're taking the tile and you do the card action.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool.
That is cool.
So players take their tile, they place it on their player board. There's 4 different types of terrain. Normally desert and then mountains, and they're normal kind of things.
Forest.
Yep. Some tiles
Water.
have creatures on it. I think that's it. I don't know if there's water. Anyway.
That's one of them.
Some tiles, there's like one of the spaces that you could put on your board is a volcano. And apparently creatures come out of the volcano.
What?
That's the exterminate part. You're getting rid of some of these creatures,
Okay.
right? Okay. That's
Sure.
my last 4X reference. So some tiles you actually add to the board will give you a creature that you can fight. And then once you place your tile out, you then do the action that was on the card, which includes... you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Producing Orichalcum.
Okay.
Recruiting hoplamites.
Okay,
Hoplites.
Hoplomachus.
Yeah,
Sure.
Hoplomachus. For battle. Recruiting soldiers for battle.
Okay.
Building temples and fighting creatures. So those are your actions that you can do.
Sounds fun so far.
Yeah. As players create these terrain tiles, if they get 3 like terrains, they earn the favor of this Titan, and this Titan actually becomes one of your temporary points and has a cool power. So the moment I have 3 desert, I get the desert power Titan, and then if Natalie creates a 3 tile desert, she would then take the Titan power from me, and it would activate, and it creates these cool things where you get to do something extra or do something again, and they move kind of quite often because it's not the most. If I have 7 desert tiles and Ryan makes a 3 set, he has like gotten the attention of the Titan is what it's called. So then you would get it.
Okay.
Then if I made mine 8 or I made another 3, I would then take it back.
Got it.
So it's not just having the most. It's just so it moves kind of often, which I kind of liked for a sort of a quick game. You get points for having those things. You get points for building these temples, and you can buy them with Orichalcum. Okay. And play continues until in their turn someone gets 5 points. So it'll end mid-turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boom, you get 5 points, you win. You don't have to finish the round, you don't have to have it at the end of the round. As soon as you get 5 points, boom, you win.
Boom.
Okay. Let's talk about my thoughts.
Yes, I would love to hear this.
I had a good time with Orichalcum.
Why does he have a face?
That doesn't sound like you did.
No, I'm just saying it because I don't know if me saying I had a good time with Orichalcum is going to get Ryan to giggle and then say something.
I don't know what game you're even talking about. What
I
is it
had
again?
a good time with Orichalcum. Woo! I did. I love the production quality. It was way better than I thought it was going to be opening up this
It
thing.
looked so good.
Having the sweet, like...
It looked really
The
cool.
boards were awesome. Like, your player
Yeah.
board was cool. That allowed the tiles. The tiles are those, like... They're kind of 2 circles that are smushed together. And I thought that kind of fit well and looked awesome on the board. The first player token is this, like, giant metal helmet coin, which is
That's
sweet.
cool. That's really cool.
Even the points that you get are, like, oversized points. They could just be tokens, but the points are huge, and they, like, slot into the top of your player board, which is nice. The Titans have, like, a circle on the bottom, which then fits into the top of your player board. So the production was, like, really well thought out. I loved that everything was super sized. And the teach was pretty quick. It wasn't quick for us because we were, like, goofing around because Joe had his 24-hour thing and raised a whole bunch of money for Extra Life.
Very
which was
awesome.
You
great.
were on like stream.
And yeah, we were on stream, so we were chatting with people. But the teach goes quickly. You place your tile, you do the action. Here's what the actions do. And I think that for playing in under an hour, there was this, what I felt like in one play, a cool crescendo maybe of like, this is kind of going slow, and then it's like, oh boy, the game's going to be over quick. Mm-hmm. Right? Like you have 0 points for the first few turns, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh man, Joe's got 3. Oh, now Dave's got 4, and I have 2. Oh shit, what can I do? Like,
yeah.
And then you're also playing a cool game of, I want to be able to go first because the game could end right now.
Yeah.
And Joe ended up ending it, and I'm not sure if Dave had a chance to also end it that turn, but that would have been interesting if Dave would have went first and been able to end it before his turn.
Oh.
So I like that kind of tension, especially toward the end, because you're planning out every move. At the beginning, you're kind of just placing tiles out and seeing how it goes, and then toward the end, you're like,
careful.
oh, now
Kind
I
of
need
mathing
to,
it out. Like,
I need
okay,
to think it.
Dave could end it in 2 turns, so
Yeah.
I got to do this to get
Yeah,
this
because
done.
5 points can you can go from 3 to 5, you take a Titan, and you buy one on your turn, boom, you're done. So that was cool. Don't advertise this as a 4X game. Now, I'll keep moving on. So the quick engine I really liked. There's these cool, one of the actions is building, and you add these tiles to your board, which covers up one of your terrain spots, which kind of messes up maybe if you're creating these areas. But the buildings create sometimes like all-time powers, like you get to do something extra all the time, or it gives you an extra production of your Orichalcum or your soldiers, which I liked. And there was a way that you can spend these resources to take an extra action on your turn, which for me allowed for some cool like combo-tastic sort of turns.
Okay.
Like watching, I like did poorly at the game, but watching Joe and Dave go, let me take this action and now I'm going to spend 2 of these resources to do something else and then kind of set themselves up. I liked that. It felt like you could be, what we kind of always talk about, you could be a little sneaky. You could be like, oh, I only have 3 points, but like, ooh, I'm
look at
sitting
this.
there. I'm in,
Yeah.
I'm sitting and
You're
I
waiting.
can just like jump, and I
Ooh,
really
I like
liked
that
that. I
too.
thought that was cool.
That sounds good.
It's so I would say it's on the lighter side. It's on the lighter medium in terms of like gameplay, and
Okay.
you're not going to overthink a ton,
Too
which
light?
I liked. I don't know. So I want to see how much it would play. Is it going to hold up after 10 plays? Is it going to feel the same of like, all right, I know how to win. If I get the production of this, I can just buy these things. Or is the backside of the board, which is a little tougher to place tiles, is that going to help? It could be easily expandable with different Titan powers. You could rotate Titan powers out. I'm assuming that's all part of the success of the game, and if they want to keep...
Do you think it's one of those games where if you've played it with people who haven't played it, you're like going to win for sure?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think that anybody could sit down and do pretty well at this game, which I think is a plus.
I like that in games.
And especially if they just say, listen, you just need 5 points. And also, if you're new to games and you lose, you're not losing 100-0.
Yeah.
Like, even I did poorly and I still got 4 points. Like, I got my 4th. I was well away from 5, so I felt like I was even further away. But I had 4 points.
Right.
Even if I had 3
like an
and you
Istanbul
had 5,
situation.
you could be like, yeah, even Istanbul, you can be like, ooh, I was close, I got it.
Right.
So,
or in 2 turns, I would have been there.
Yeah, it didn't make you feel like, oh, you were way behind.
Right.
I've played games before, so I kind of knew I was like, I'm a little behind.
Do you have any idea what it retails for?
I want to say it's got to be $40. Okay. I don't think it's going to hit I don't think it's a $50 game.
Because the components were really cool.
They were really cool, and there wasn't a ton of them. So my guess would be like that $35 to $45 range.
Cool.
If we can.
What's it called?
It's called Orichalcum.
Orichalcum.
Orichalcum. I probably had to say that again. All those letters shouldn't go together.
I know.
You found it.
No, just kidding.
It's like
I know,
when you
but it might
first
not be
read
like
Teotihuacan,
Yeah,
you're
it's
like,
not.
no.
It's not on
Nobody
Amazon.
can pronounce that ever.
You're like, nope.
Yeah.
Teotihuacan.
Teotihuacan.
So overall, this is cool. I'm going to play this game again at game night at some point really soon. I'd be intrigued to see how it plays at 4, and I just kind of thought it was like neat, and it was better than some of the reviews that I read on Board Game Geek because again, maybe people were disappointed with, in my opinion, a false advertising of 4X, but it was like solid.
I'm also really interested to hear how you feel about it after you've played it a few times.
Yeah,
is it worth sticking around in your collection?
Can it hold up for 10 plays? Which is kind of what I asked for in a game. Like
Sure.
if I really love a game, can it hold up in 10 plays? Is probably is a good measuring stick.
Right.
So
Great.
Yeah.
So that's
Anything about it?
Orichalcum.
There's
it's very new. So
There's-
if you're getting prices, it might be like
There's no prices.
okay, it's free.
Well,
I mean, I think it's just not out.
if you are a regular listener of the show, you know that for most of the games we talk about, I would say 100% of them, give or take 0%, I go through the explanation. We used to force Natalie to explain the rules to our delight. Well, today, we do that again. Are you ready for the rules explanation of a game from Natalie? Are
I
you?
didn't know this was happening.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I prepared, so I don't sound like a dum-dum.
Dang,
let's see.
Dang it. All right,
He even
Natalie,
told me, he's like,
We'll
write it down.
take it away.
Okay, so we played Super Skill Pinball 4K.
4 like arcade, but with a 4.
It's like the number 4.
Yeah.
4K.
This game is a roll and write game that is like a pinball machine. It comes with 4 different pins, which is basically like different pinball machine themes. Each pin has 2 boards, one for keeping score, and the other is the machine that like you're playing on.
Is the machine called a pin?
That's what they call it in the rule book. They called these each pins.
The actual
The
pinball
actual
machine is called a pin?
pinball machine, like the giant thing is called a pin.
I don't know, but in the rule book
then the
they
ball
called
is called
each
a
of
ball?
the 4 different.
That's where they
games.
get
I
ball
thought the
pin.
machine would be called the machine.
The machine
part
ball.
of it. Pinball
Yeah,
machine.
pinball. I thought the
I thought
ball
it
was a
pinball
pinball.
machine.
And then it's a machine
that's what I
that
thought.
houses the pinball. Interesting.
Interesting.
Fucking weird. Start over.
I don't like it.
Okay. No, there's 2 boards. The scoreboard also has like the name and like a thematic picture. So like how they tell you to place it is like place like the game one that you're playing, which is like kind of portrait style.
Yeah, portrait
And then
style.
the other like scoreboard and theme thing is like landscape. And you put it on top, so it's kind of like a pinball machine. You know how it's like
I
the
get it
long part and then it
Yes.
has like the top part.
Hamburger style, hot dog style.
Okay.
Yeah,
hot dog
exactly.
hamburger.
Hamburger on top.
Yeah,
hot
so it
dog
looks
on
like a
bottom.
pinball machine that you like play in arcade. The game also comes with 2 dice and dry erase markers, and then like pinball pieces that look like it looks like a pinball ball. It's like a half circle, so it's like flat on the bottom, but it's like a silver little ball.
Yep.
Anyways, so how the game works is you place the ball on the start marker on the board. The 2 dice are rolled, and players simultaneously choose one of the dice and use that number to make a play. There are 4 different zones on each board, so when you choose where to play it, it has to be either in a zone lower than where you started, kind of like the ball is like falling down.
Yeah, so the ball starts at the top.
Yeah, the start's at the top.
Sure. Yeah, like you pull back the thing
yep,
and
it's
shot it up,
and now you're starting. Yeah,
Yes,
and it's
right,
coming down.
exactly. Or so you can put it in a lower zone than where you started, or you can stay in the same zone if you're utilizing something called the bumpers, which is just like bounces around in that same zone. Each zone has a couple features that you can play, and by play I mean like mark off a number matching the dice that you chose. For example, if a 3 and a 5 is rolled and I choose the 3, then I go to the future that I choose to play and cross off the 3 in that area. If there is no 3 or 5 in the area, then I can't play there, so I'd have to go down another zone and play there instead.
Right, simulating the ball dropping.
Right.
Okay.
Some features give you points, some give you other bonuses or like special powers. If you get to the 4th zone at the bottom, that's where the flippers are. The flippers have 2 different colors. So you cross off a die for one of the flippers and you kind of like sit on that flipper. And on the next turn, your ball will fly back up to the higher zones, but you can only go to dice that match the flipper that you're on. So if you are sitting on the red flipper, you can only go to areas with red dice or white dice, which is kind of like wild. The entire game, you play 3 rounds of pinball. So each round ends when you're no longer able to play anything or your ball falls out of the machine, basically. If that happens, you move onto the next round, even if the other player is still in their current round. So, for example, if Ryan can no longer play and has to move on to round 2, but my ball's still in play in my round 1, the next die roll, I'll keep playing my round 1, and he'll place his ball back at the start, erase the spots he needs to erase.
Yours is still bouncing
yeah,
around.
and then he starts his next round.
Yep.
So very likely there'll be situations where someone's game ends and the other player or players are still playing out their rounds. But at the end of the, when everybody's done, whoever has the most points wins. There are a few other little things you can do, such as nudging, which is basically like changing a die to a different number, but this could be risky, causing a tilt.
You do that in pinball tournaments.
There's like it could be a possible consequence, which could end the round immediately for you if you do that. So, Ryan style.
You did great.
I did?
Yeah,
Did you help her?
Killed that.
No, I just sat on the couch.
Not at it. I know. I'm kind of bummed.
Well, here's
I
what's
wish you just did it on the
I
fly.
should have just interrupted you and been like, "Oh, come."
If it was pincum oralcade.
Pinball for cumcade.
Well, it helped that I learned this game. I actually learned this game, so
That's why I'm making her.
Yeah, and taught Ryan, so it was easier for me to like explain.
So our contract has changed.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
I haven't seen the updates in mine yet.
She renegotiated. We have to.
Yeah.
Our negotiations coming soon.
So the things I liked in this game, the game felt very thematic. It definitely feels like you're playing pinball, which kind of makes it easy to like intuit how the ball should flow. Like other games, you might have to try to like remember like where can I go and how does it work, but it's just like it just makes sense. It's like you're playing a pinball game. We played 2 games of this, the beginner board and then one of the other boards. The first board was really fun. It had some cool things that allowed multiple balls to be played at once. Each turn is really quick, so it moves.
Balls. Okay.
I expected the second board to be just like the first one, but with some additional things, which it was, but it actually was more different than I expected.
Okay, I just wish that sentence was like, I expected to do this, and I was right. Just move on.
So like the second one we played, it had this like the whole other mini game you can play to get extra points. It had some of the same bonuses as the first board, but also some additional ones.
So it's kind of like your ball went into that like spot, and then it like dings up on the. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
People know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
I also felt like there can definitely be some strategy to playing these games, especially the second board, which made me excited to explore that more. And then the quickness of each turn felt like you were constantly doing something. The things I didn't like. There's definitely some randomness that can be a little frustrating. Basically, you're just like rolling dice. So if you don't roll what you need, then you could just be...
Your round can end very fast.
Round can end quick. The thing that I dislike the most is how long it is. It's probably about 45 minutes long. And for what you're doing, 45 minutes is a bit too long, I think. Like I said, you're constantly rolling dice and crossing off and erasing things over and over and over and over. And to do that nonstop for 45 minutes straight makes like the end of the game, like you're just so ready for it to be over by the end. Is how I felt. And I mean, one round can last 5 minutes or it can last like 20 minutes, depending on how the dice works out. So, that part, even though I thought it was really fun, both games I played, I was at the end, I was kind of like, okay, this needs to end. The other negative thing is the stupid erasers on the markers kept falling off every time you try to erase, which is like all the time. The damn thing falls off because it's too like flimsy, and so like that was a little annoying, but that's kind of like nitpicky. Overall, I think it was a really fun game. There's more depth to it than you'd think for a pinball roll and write, and I can definitely see us pulling this out over a lot of other roll and write games.
He's doing that because you said pull out.
Oh God, and balls. This,
What did you think?
Natalie got it all.
I know she did.
move on.
She did. That.
Yep.
I'm very proud of you. You're about to clap for yourself. You're like, oh yeah, I did great. Look at me go.
Pat me on the back.
So this game is really interesting and fun. It's funny because it's very similar to a lot of other roll and writes. You basically just roll dice and cross off boxes that match what you rolled. It doesn't like do a ton fresh, right? Eventually you trigger other effects that score you points, but it still feels very different than anything else.
I think it feels different too.
And what it does differently is it mimics the pinball machine, which Natalie talked about. It feels very thematic. I'm surprised to say that it does that very well. It really does sort of feel like you're playing pinball when you don't roll exactly what you need and the ball falls down to the next section, or it will ping around bumpers on its own for a couple turns before ultimately falling down to the next section, before ultimately hitting a flipper, only to get whooshed back up to the top again. It's really quite exhilarating and really fun and satisfying when you roll what you need to trigger a really cool scoring mechanism. I enjoy that there are 4 different machines to play on the base set. Like Natalie said, we played a couple of them already, and they feel very different from each other, and not just like in a gimmicky, ultra gimmicky way. I didn't like the component quality. I thought it was pretty meh. It's not a huge deal, but the boards are just kind of flimsy. The damn markers are too freaking small. It's nothing special to look at either. The artwork is just kind of like, okay. It's not going to win any beauty contests for sure. My biggest problem, though, is the same as Natalie, and it's just the game takes too long. It takes longer than you would want it to. It takes longer than you would think and than you would want it to. And it almost overstates its welcome. It doesn't. I don't like that turn of phrase, overstates its welcome, but that is a thing, right? And this one doesn't. I would never say that I'm like, oh my God, this is taking forever. But I would say that you do feel the you're like kind of like, oh man, this is taking a while. Like we're only on round 2. We still got a whole nother round to play, and oh boy. And that's not that bad, right? It's so long that it might deter us from playing it, as it can take an hour to get through with just the 2 of us. And there's really no way to shorten it that I can see. So you just kind of have to deal with that. The game can also suffer from bad luck, like Natalie talked about, where one player is just out of the game due to some bad die rolls really quickly, while the other players are just going on and on and on and on and getting lucky and staying alive, leaving the player that's left out to feel a bit butthurt as they're just forced to watch the players who are getting a little bit luckier. And Natalie also mentioned the marker caps falling off. That did annoy me, but what also kind of annoyed me a lot was you are erasing a lot. There's a lot of... There's like tons of erasing in this game, and it's not terrible, but it is a little bit, what's the word I want to use? Annoying isn't even the word. It's like one step below annoying.
Tedious?
Yeah, it's a little tedious. But, yeah, especially on the one of the other boards we played, you played this little mini game, and you could write like a shit ton of dots. And then as soon as the mini game's over, you got to erase all of them. It's just kind of like, okay, this is kind of annoying. And then the cap falls off, and you're like, God damn it! And then the marker falls out of your hand and marks the board in a way that you didn't intend. And so those are all nitpicks, though. Yeah. Overall, I really, really like this game, just like Natalie did. So far, I've had a lot of fun playing it and getting into the theme, which is not something I typically do. And I love the many moments where good fortune hits and laughingly lamenting the times where the rolls don't go my way. I think this is a great game. I think this is great, not good. We don't use it that way. I think it's great, not. It's not good. It's great.
Oh, it's great.
It's better than bad. It's good.
It's better than
get
bad.
Your log.
It's log.
Yeah, come and get your log.
This game is log.
It's log.
Yeah.
This game, yeah. On a scale of good, not great to log, this is log.
It's log.
It's log.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you got, Jeff?
I have a game we just played moments ago. Together.
Oh shit.
The Trace of
TB.
Us.
The trace of
The Trace of Us.
What did you say?
said the trace of us.
3 in Spanish.
Oh, trace. Okay. I thought it was like TRACE.
Like we're tracing. He's tracing us.
Yeah.
He's tracing us on a
What
paper.
language did you take in high school?
Spanish. Only Spanish. 4 years.
4 years and Trace. That was
She
in
doesn't even know what
Spanish
rota
1.
means.
Uno, dos, tres.
That's right. You got it. We played a game called Tidal Blades. Wait for it. Banner Festival.
That's right.
Not
Butt fuck.
what?
Oh, she's drunk, dude.
What do I
know? She's drunk.
I'm never getting. Never. And Bree is wonderful.
You just want
Lucky
Jeff
duck.
to never get a game again.
Thanks, Natalie.
Always
Sabotage,
I was
Jeff.
kind of like, how's she going to sexualize this one?
What's she gonna do?
How are you going to do this one, you
She
freak?
just butt fucked it up over there.
You know what it reminded me of? We're watching.
What does butt fuck remind you of? Why don't you let us know?
watching.
Remember when the power went out the other night? Whoa-wee. Let me tell you, when the power goes out, We don't know where the things are. Ryan doesn't know where the things are, and we got some BFing in. Hey,
Hard to find the hole. It's hard to find the right hole when the power's
It's a dark neighborhood. We got no street lights. It got dark. Woo-wee.
I like space. I got sucked into the black hole.
It reminded me of the Modern Family when Phil was talking about his dad, and he's like, yeah, my dad knew he was so hip, he knew what everything stood for. Like, LOL was like, laugh out loud or whatever. And then he's like, BFF is best friends forever. And he was like, BJ.
Blue jeans.
Blue jeans.
You didn't even have the punchline. God damn it.
Damn it, Sassy from Ted Lasso.
You're a beat too. It kills the whole atmosphere. Let Jeff talk.
God damn it, Tidal Blades
She's
Banner
drunk, man.
Festival. Okay, Tidal Blades Banner Festival. This is set in the Tidal Blades world, but... Nope, not that one. But is not a heavy-ish worker placement type of game like Tidal Blades is. It might not. It could even be themed as lots of other things. But apparently, they bought the rights or they have the rights, whatever. There is, I don't know the controversy or the gossip here, but Druid City used to be teamed up with Skybound Games to make a lot of things, and they made Tidal Blades together. They have recently split up somehow.
I think it's amicable. I think they're okay.
So I haven't heard anything negative from either side, so they just split up. So this Tidal Blades title got taken by Druid City. So Druid City has this, and it was then also purchased and distributed by Lucky Duck. So it's Lucky Duck and Druid City Games. And what was funny is I met with Bree at Gen Con, and she told me about getting Tidal Blades, and they were really excited about having a little bit of the IP and kind of using it. And they bought all of these games, thousands of them. They bought Tidal Blades Banner Festival from Druid City / what was the other one? Skybound. They bought them with their logos on it. So Skybound's logo is on this. So
they bought it before the split.
They spent days and days taking games out of Shrink and sticking stickers on them to cover up the Skybound games.
Oh my
Put
gosh.
Lucky Duck and Druid City on there. So there's like 3 stickers on these boxes. And that's going to be like the first print run. I'm sure the second print run they'll have it fine. But if you get this game soon, you like look for it. You'll find it. They put it on great. It's not like ugly, nasty.
I didn't even notice.
Just stuck on there. I'll show it to you. It looks fine, but you might be able to find a little sticker on there. So a little Easter egg or something. But anyway,
very cool.
So again, set in the Tidal Blaze universe because the art is just as beautiful and the water is there and it's just as lush and gorgeous as the regular Tidal Blades game, but teeny tiny. This is actually a trick taking game. Again, why in Tidal Blades? Who knows? But it's a trick-taking game. You are trying to generate the most profit from your merchandise cards, which are the cards you're playing to win tricks or to lose tricks or to medium tricks. There is a circle board. Is the circle board in Tidal? Does Tidal Blades have a circular board?
No, it's got
islands?
like a bunch of different boards, and they're all actually shaped really coolly. They have like jagged edges and stuff like that, and you kind of like put them together in this.
Jagged Edge
way.
was like an R&B band from the like late '90s, early 2000s.
Jagged Edge? Wow, I never heard of them.
Yeah, I've heard some.
I probably heard their songs.
Jagged Edge?
Yeah.
Jagged Edge, never heard of them.
Isn't there something like Jagged Little Pill?
That's Alanis Morissette. Keep going. She heard the word jagged in that shirt.
Jagged.
Isn't that like a rock structure? Like it could be jagged?
You think it's jagged?
This jagged mountain?
There is a circle board. On that circle board, it's broken up into 2 halves and 4 quadrants. The 4 quadrants are different colors: yellow, orange, purple, blue. That quadrant dictates which card is the highest and where you're kind of playing cards to, essentially. So the yellow section, if we're playing cards to the yellow section, the yellow cards are the highest. So a yellow 1 is higher than a blue 9 because we're in the yellow section and yellow's higher. Right, Natalie? Boom.
Right.
Players get 7 or 8 cards each round. You play 3 rounds. The cards are numbered from 0 to 9 in those 4 different colors. And in not all trick-taking games, but everybody's playing their card face down. So it's not like Ryan leads a color and you have to follow. No, everyone plays it face down, and then we all flip it up. We then evaluate the cards that are out and played as which one is the highest, which cards are in the middle, and which card is the lowest. If you have the highest card, you get to move your little jet ski around this board, trying to complete these laps. Every time you get lap dances, you get to, every time you go around the board once,
every time you get a lap dance,
to
you
flip
get
a card over, which gives you some points. So you want to keep going around those things. So you want to win some.
Orichalcum.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Okay.
That was a good one.
Great. And so, the more times you go around, the more points you're going to get. So you want to win. You want to win tricks.
You do.
Okay?
Yeah.
You also want to be in the middle of tricks because the middle cards get to add these banners to the different quadrants for area majority at the end of the round. So you want to have all the middle cards as well.
If for some reason it was confusing me that they kept calling them banners,
Yeah,
I don't know why.
like discs.
Yeah,
They're
because
just
it was a
discs,
disc,
right?
and every time I saw a banner, I'm like, "What the hell's a banner?" I'm like, "Oh, I think it means
Your
this disc."
disc. Yeah, so that was like, I don't understand the theme of like, are you hanging these flag?
Yeah, I don't really
Yeah.
understand the theme either. I'm like, why is there even jet skis?
Yeah, well, I think because it's like Waterworld.
Yeah,
But
yeah, Tidal
again,
Blades is
what
all
is
like
the-
beachfront stuff. So maybe you're getting
Okay.
Yeah, but what's
But
the
like
point
even
of
the
doing
board,
it?
it like didn't look to me that much
Yeah.
like water.
Yeah, the theme is just what it
Yeah,
is.
it's just
If you
tacked
play
on.
the lowest card, you get to activate the power on your card. So most people don't get to do anything with their card except you win, you middle, but the lowest one
win,
gets to
you
activate
middle.
power on, which is cool. And the powers are all kind of what you're doing in the game. You're collecting these fruit, you're adding banners, you're moving your jet ski. It allows you to just do something even though you lost. And you get points throughout the round from collecting fruit, getting the majority at the end of the round. You play 3 rounds, so you're either playing 7 or 8 cards 3 times over and over again, and that's it. There's a dummy player if you play with 2 or 3 to kind of get the game going because it doesn't work with 2, and it wouldn't work with 3.
Yeah.
Thoughts? I've played it twice. I played it once with 3 players, which we just played using the dummy player, and I played it once with 4, and both times I enjoyed what I was doing. This was better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't know what it would be like to play a game where you don't want to win. You don't want to win all the tricks. You almost are playing sometimes to just not win. It's not like you're always playing to win and then sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't want to. Like, I don't want to win this because I'm going to move my jet ski 1, and that's not worth me
Right.
playing
Well,
a
like
higher
all
card
3
for it.
spots like could be just as good as the other ones.
Yeah, you can win playing all middle cards. You can win, like, there's lots of ways to score points and to win this game, which I really liked, without just always winning the tricks or having the highest cards. So that brought the randomness down of the cards that you get, because the cards you got could be played in different ways. Like, everybody is like, oh, I got all 9s, of course I'm going to win. Or when you're playing a lot of other games, that's how it works. But with this one, you don't want all the high cards. You want some random range of randomness. But the, I don't know what I was going to say with that.
something about BJ's. Probably
Something about
blue jeans.
But where the randomness does come in, that's also where the randomness does come in is you have no idea what other people are playing. So there might be a little bit of sense of losing control of what you're doing. Like, I don't have any control over what you guys have, what you're playing.
Like you could be trying to win and you end up losing or something.
Yeah, you just
and-
like
That's happened.
Yeah, and you just flip and you go, all right, well, I was trying to win. I just lost my best card. But I also think that happens in trick-taking games.
Yeah.
Where I play the 8 of yellow because I'm like, that's the second highest card. Oh, Ryan's got the 9. And you win.
Yes,
So
exactly.
even with that, you're going to lose some control. And so that really didn't bother me because I thought there was other ways to score and to win. And if all of a sudden your plan didn't go well on the first trick, change it for the next one, because now you might want to win the second trick instead of just losing it. So I see the complaint that you might feel like you have no control over what's going on, but that didn't bother me as I was playing. I enjoyed it. I thought the art was beautiful looking at it. The cards were all cool. The powers are cool. And what did you guys think? We played.
Well, I have some thoughts. I really enjoy. Are you taking video?
No.
Oh, okay. You have your phone like pointed and you're like,
No, I'm just
"Okay."
messing. With my phone.
I really liked this game. I think it's almost a misnomer to call it a trick-taking game. It doesn't feel like a trick-taking game to me.
Right.
So Jeff talked in the rules about how if you get the highest card, you win, but they are all equal to me. Getting the highest or the middle or the low, it all depends on what you want to do. So at the beginning of the game, my mentality was like, oh, I'm not winning many of these tricks, which winning or is what we're calling getting the highest card.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it's a misnomer to call it that.
Yeah,
That's
you're
a good point, because trick-taking games, you take the trick.
You take
you
the
don't
trick.
take anything. You just get the benefit of the
usually
highest.
in trick-taking games, the game is predicated on how many of
Do
it.
they
like,
call it a trick-taking game?
Yeah, it's.
Well, I mean,
it would have to be in the
kind of
mechanically.
is.
Mechanically,
Yeah.
I don't know what else. I don't know how else you would
That's a good
describe
point.
it.
It's not
I
like
just
a
think
traditional
This is not
trick-taking
going. If
game.
you're thinking of a trick-taking game, this feels nothing like a traditional trick-taking game.
Maybe hand management, I guess. But
Yeah.
that throws it into a weird.
Yeah,
Almost
no, it
like a
does
hand
feel like
management
trick-taking
thing.
game, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like.
Yeah, because again, most of my gameplay in the time we played it, I was playing for the middle. And I considered that like, oh, I got the middle. I won. That's what I considered. And even if you win, which is what we're saying is the highest number, that doesn't even, you don't lead. The loser leads.
Yeah. I guess we shouldn't call it win.
Leads,
I think they call it.
The loser is the one that gets to like move this thing in the middle.
They call it on the card highest, middle, low. They don't say like win, lose.
Yeah,
like
it's kind of like a misnomer, I think. Not Jeff's misnomer, but the game calling. I understand why they did it because I don't know what else you would really say. I guess hand management is something like that because, again, like Jeff said, Jeff's not playing, and then I don't look at what Jeff has and then make my decision. And he also talked about the randomness factor, and I was worried about that. But after he explained the rules about like, okay, we don't get to see each other's cards. How the hell are we going to know what they're doing? And am I going to hate that? You know, that's like the thing I didn't like about the game you and me always talk about. Fister, what the fuck's it?
Barely Newer.
Is it Fister? The which one?
Oh, Broom Service?
Broom Service.
Yeah, that's like I play, you follow. And if you have it, you have to play.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, I was worried that was going to be a feeling where I was going to be like, oh, I'm not going to like this because we're all going to flip it over and I'm going to be like, fucked every time.
Every single time.
You almost can't even. Okay. So, Jeff talked about a thing where he's like, man, if I'm going to try to win or get to play the highest card here and I have the 8, oh, Ryan beat me with the 9. You know, still, before you play that 8, you know in your brain there's a chance. Yeah. The 9's going to be out there.
And it's not that you don't get anything.
And it's not that you don't... Right. So that's what I like the most about this game, is no matter what card you play, even if the result is not what you intended or mostly intended, what happens is always good.
Yeah.
So... And they don't... It doesn't feel like, I have to get the middle this time. I have to.
Yeah, or else I'm screwed.
And if you don't, like, oh, my play is ruined. That doesn't happen. You don't get those feelings. Those bad feelings don't happen, or they didn't in this one. Now, it can happen because there is an area majority component to this game, which is distinctly related to playing the middle cards. Mm-hmm. And so that can feel like, oh, I really got to get this to happen. But if you get the highest card, then you get to go around, move your boat, your jet ski around. That's usually pretty good. Or if you get the lowest, you get to activate your card, and that's also really good.
Yeah, which usually gives you a little bit of the other stuff.
So I didn't find the randomness to be an issue at all. I just found it kind of fun. I felt like, especially with 3 players, now I haven't played it with 4, but the dummy player gives you all a chance to see that card is played. The dummy player's card gets played up, face up. So all of you, before you make your decision, get to see the dummy player's card. And that really mattered to me, I thought. I felt like that made the potential randomness issue even lessened a little bit more, because now if I see that the dummy player's card based on the zone we're in is the lowest suit, I can guarantee myself, as long as I play higher than them, I'm guaranteed to at least get the middle.
Right. Yeah.
At least. And if I play if I'm in the same color, one number higher and I have that card, I guarantee the middle. Mm-hmm. And I know for a fact what's going to happen. And I really liked that. Because I still don't know what Jeff and Natalie are going to do. But I know for a fact that I can give myself a little more agency in each turn. You're going to lose that in a 4-player game. And I don't know that I would really care as much.
Me. When I was playing in a 4-player game, it didn't bother me. And maybe the more I play it could bother me more, because maybe in the first play I'm just kind of playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just enjoying what's going on, but it didn't bother me when I was playing, because again, I just flip it over and I go, ooh, I wanted the top, but I get the middle, and now I get to put my disc here.
Yeah,
because it never felt completely just boned over and over.
Never. Not one. There was a turn or two where I was like, shit, I won, and it only moves me a couple spaces, and it does nothing for me. That's kind of a bummer.
But it happens to all of us.
But it happens to all of us, and it's very few and far between. Now, I think them getting the Tidal Blades license or whatever is all about the look and appeal of the game, which is gorgeous. Mm-hmm. If anybody knows Tidal Blades, it's one of the better looking games ever. It's very bright and vibrant and lush and gorgeous, and there's just lots to look at, lots to enjoy. The component quality, they have these little fruits, and they're like kind of squishy little fruits, and they had those were in Tidal Blades proper or base game as well. And so I think in this day and age of board games where there's just a shitload of games of every kind of mechanism, a good way to stand out is to have name recognition and great artwork. Curb appeal, right? This game does that. So what a big win for Fucky Fuck getting this.
Oh, God.
Getting.
Okay, she said, oh, God, she's the one that butt fucked us a second ago.
It's a win for Lucky Duck, I think, getting this title, and it will sell for them because Tidal Blades is a big name, and the game looks gorgeous. Now, if I go to the flip side of things I maybe didn't like too much, the only thing I could really say in against it would be it didn't leave me feeling excited. I wasn't like, man, that was so fun. So personally for me, I don't know that it would have a place in my collection, but maybe it would because I don't really have anything like it either.
I don't have a game like that.
Yeah, there's really not many games like that. I like games that take a mechanism that we're used to and kind of flip it around. It kind of like Cat in the Box. This is almost what I wanted Cat in the Box to be. Where Cat in the Box takes the that mechanism and it's like does something cool to it, but it has a couple components that I was like, no, I don't like this at all. This game kind of flips trick taking a little bit by kind of making it not trick taking or making it so everything that you play is good, which I really like because it removes that butthurt stuff. And so I like that about the game. And it also looks really cool. It plays really quickly, but again, it didn't leave me feeling. Like, I wasn't done and going like, wow, I want to play that again right now. That was really good. I was just kind of like, okay, this is good. It's better than good, not great. But it's worse than great, not good for me. It's not log.
It's not quite log.
But it is better than good, not great. And I was surprised.
Yeah.
I was like pleasantly surprised. I had heard some negative things about this before we played it that kind of made me go like, I don't know if I want to play it. And I disagree with all of the complaints I heard about it. I think it's really good. What do you think, Natalie?
I really like this game too. I mean, I know we kind of talk about it's like not exactly like trick taking, but I love trick taking games, but I especially love like the twist on them that we see in some games, like when you don't necessarily want to win, like Fox in the Forest and like The Crew, like you're kind of like, you take the cards in your hand and you're trying to like get a certain goal with them instead of like always win the trick. And so I think that in games is really fun. And, my thoughts are similar to what you guys said. I love that. I guess my favorite part of the game and the part that I found like so interesting and fun was just every turn making the decision, like, okay, I see what that dummy player has. I see what I have.
What zone you're in,
like constantly changes what the best and worst card is, for like getting the highest and the lowest. So that's interesting. It's not like, purple's always the highest. It changes, all the time. And then you're looking at the power that the card does. And so you're kind of deciding like, okay, if I play this one, I'm hoping for this, but if I get this, then that works out too, and so it's kind of like, it's just, I don't know. I thought it was fun and interesting to make that decision. But I also enjoyed that you're never in a position where you're like, oh, damn it. Like that sucked. Like you're just like, okay, well, that's not what I hoped for, but cool. I get this, which is still going to help me.
And the turns are lightning fast. So like if you have a turn where you're like, darn, the very next turn could be like, yay.
Yeah, exactly.
And Natalie, to your point of, I also want to say that I also felt like I was making decisions with my cards. It wasn't just, if I would have just put my cards face down and just randomly gave them up, I think I would have lost very badly. So I do think that there are decisions to make, even when you play a card and you didn't get what you want, but I still get something. You still made a decision.
Yeah.
So there was some decision space there that I felt like when I've played it the twice.
Right.
So.
I agree.
Yeah. And there, what was I going to say? I forgot.
Something about sucking dick.
That was it.
Right. Yeah, something about that.
Yeah, Orichalcum.
Orichalcum, butt fucks, blue jeans.
But,
blue jeans. By the face.
Yeah, so, I mean, I really enjoyed it. The only thing that I would say, I mean, honestly, I enjoyed it so much that, like, I would say that I want the game.
I kind of feel that. You're talking me into it.
Except, I'm nervous that it's not going to be as fun with 2 players.
I agree.
That's the only, like...
I loved it with 3. I don't know if I'd love it
exactly.
With 2.
I'm like, okay, do we buy a game that we need at least 3 players to play? Because it is that fun where, like, if we did have 3 or 4 players and we brought it somewhere, I would always bring it. I would bring it.
Yeah.
But
why not? You play it and I'll just sit and watch.
Yeah, but like, yeah, should we get a game that's not good for really 2 fun. And would it be even good for those? The part that I'm like not sure about, but the game that we played, I had a lot of fun playing.
Totally agree.
That was Tidal Blade's Banner Festival.
Every year at Gen Con, I have a ton of fun going to the teeny tiny little booth that Oink Games has. It's always super crowded as people clamor to see what the new games are that they came out with that year. This year, there were a few new ones, and I came home with one of them. Order
Overload Cafe.
Overlord Core 4. Order Overload Cafe of Stupid Memory, Bad Feelings. And we have been loving that one. The other one that may have been more popular at Gen Con was one called Town 66, which I stupidly didn't buy. Well, we played Order Overload with Frankie and Kyle a few weeks ago, and Frankie loved it so much she asked for it for Christmas from us. And so I went out and I found it.
Copy.
Yeah, I want yours.
Well, she asked for that. I was like, oh, I don't know if we can get that.
Yeah, it's hard to get Oink Games. I went to the Oink Games website in Japan and bought it. I didn't go to the website in Japan. I went to their website where
I flew to Japan.
Went
to their website while in Japan.
Yeah, I went to
shipping.
Local shipping.
How do you say about shipping?
That's almost the same logic as like spending $90 and then adding a little game to get free shipping is like flying out to Japan so you can get local shipping. So not paper shipping. So I went to the Oink Games website and I bought it. And since they were going through the trouble of sending me a game all the way from Japan that I paid a lot of money for, I figured why not grab another one? So Town 66 came along with it, and it arrived, and we played it at Joe Jitsu's Extra Life charity event just as Jeff was playing Orichalcum.
Yep.
Now that I we played a few games of this. In Town 66, players are building a 6x6 town with tiles they are pulling from a bag. The object of the game is to have the least amount of tiles in your hand when the game ends. And the game ends when all players cannot make a play legally or someone plays all of their tiles. The tiles come in 6 different colors and 6 different shapes, and there are 36 total tiles. When you play a tile, you must play it orthogonally, adjacent to any other tile on the grid, which again must be 6x6. And the game starts with the tile in like the upper left-hand corner of the grid. And so when placing tiles, you're not allowed to place a tile of the same color or the same shape in a row or column. So it's kind of like Sagrada-like in that way. Only for the entire row and column instead of just adjacent like Sagrada. After you place a tile, you redraw back up to your hand size, which at the beginning of the game is 4. And then after you draw back up after placing a tile, you have the option of discarding one of your tiles from your hand permanently. So then from now on, your hand size would only be 3. And that's important because once the game ends, whoever has the least amount of tiles in their hand is the winner. But it's tricky because when you discard tiles, it becomes then harder and harder to make a legal placement. So the game is all about when to decide to cull your hand because the game can end very abruptly. And so if the game ends and you're left with 4 tiles that you can't play and the other players have less than you, you're out. So things I liked. This game was pretty fun. It's got a great little production. It comes in the standard Oink Games box size, which if you guys know, it's like its own box size. Nothing else is like this,
right?
Other than maybe like Bandito. But there's a lot packed in that little box. It's got all the tiles, 4 little wooden stands to hold your hand of tiles, which is cool. And it comes with a bag to put the tiles in. All that fits into that little Oink Game box, which is really cool. It's pretty great. The game is fun. Figuring out what tiles to place and whether or not to discard one on your turn was a really neat decision point after we kind of figured out how important that was.
Yeah.
So what I didn't like was this game felt extraordinarily random. So if we talk about Tidal Blades that we just played, that game has a randomness to it where you don't have any clue what the hell your opponents are going to do. But as we talked about, it kind of didn't feel super random to me especially in a 3-player game. This one felt extraordinarily random. We only played this with 2 players, but each game we played, the game abruptly ended all of a sudden, where one player just couldn't play anything, and since the other player could, game over, they win. It did not feel very strategic with 2, and just felt like the game was playing us. We would draw tiles and just hopefully be able to make a legal move. But the tension was gone because it never felt like we were making good plays to keep the game going or affecting anything in any real way. It just felt like we were drawing randomly and just hoping we could keep playing. With more players, that may be somewhat alleviated as more tiles are played before your turn comes back around, so there may be further opportunities for you to play. But there still is only 36 tiles, so that abruptness is likely going to be there regardless. I think the game here is in when to discard your hand and reading what your opponents have, because you can't see their tiles exactly, but you can see what colors they have. So you could try and position yourself to play a tile such that you know that they can't play any of their tiles in those rows or columns because there are already those colors there. Overall, good game, not great, not my favorite Oink game, but also fun and short enough that I would happily play it more. And I would like to see how it plays with more people to kind of tell if that problem we had in a 2-player game presents itself in a 3 or a 4-player game. What'd you think, Natalie?
I liked figuring out what to place and where a lot. Like I found that part very fun. You know, like, okay, I can place this here, this here, this here. Which one is the best? Which one, you know?
The Sagrada puzzle's fun.
Yeah, that puzzle is so fun. But like you said, then it was like so jarring when it just felt like you were like, every turn you're like, I can play everything I have, and then suddenly the next turn you're like, I can play nothing. And you're just like, what? You feel like you're on a roll, and then all of a sudden it's over. Yeah, and you're just like, what?
In a more multiplayer game, if Natalie couldn't play something, we would still keep going.
Okay.
Yeah,
but in a 2-player game, if she can't play and I can, game over, I win because I can play.
Because you win.
Yeah.
Right, and even like the first time we played it, I remember because like you said, you pick a tile and then you could also discard a tile to kind of like have less tiles. So I was just like felt like I was just easily like playing everything I wanted to, and so I was like, I didn't really know what I was doing, so I was like, I'll discard a tile. That sounds great. And then immediately I was like, that was a mistake. I'm done. And then I like lost. You know what I mean? I'm just like, what?
Like, okay.
You know, so that part was kind of strange. You know, it's kind of like you're just like, ooh, I'll do this. Oh. It's just like, that was kind of like this
anything. No, you said it right, exactly right. You have a turn before the end of the game where you're like, I can play every single tile. And you play one, and then I play one, and you're like, I can't play anything.
Exactly. And so you're just like, what?
Okay, it's over, I guess.
But like you said, it's so short. You know, like it's not that big of a deal.
We played like 3 or 4 times.
You know,
in a row.
it was just kind of. I didn't expect that when we were playing. I was just like, oh.
You both seemed underwhelmed when I turned around and asked like, "How's it going?" You're like,
yeah.
Maybe back to back. It was like, "Oh, I can't play."
Yeah, but like it's also just like this short little game.
Like it's over. Yeah.
You know, where I don't know. It's still like interesting.
I'm surprised it was so popular.
I am surprised too. Order Overload's way better. But I also, just like you, am curious about it with more people. I wonder if it won't end as quickly, or, you know, I don't know how. I'm just curious how it would play out.
But wouldn't you be out and then sitting there? Not that you're sitting there for long, but wouldn't you be out and sitting there for a few minutes?
Possibly, but it seems like, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but it seems like in the game that we played 3, I think we played 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Each game, like. Oh, again, we were both like, boom, boom, tile. Then all of a sudden, Natalie couldn't play. And it's like, oh, I can play one more. The first game, I could play like another one after that. But it's almost like the board gets to a spot, because it's only 36 tiles.
Yeah.
To play all of them would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know how that could ever happen. And so it feels like all of a sudden, it's going to end for everybody.
Right.
I don't think there's going to be one person sitting out for that long.
No, me neither. But also, like, you know, like it's my turn, and then it's Ryan's turn. He plays one thing. And now it's my turn again, and I can't play anything. But like, if there's 4 people, Ryan plays something, someone else plays something, someone else plays something. Now maybe by then I can play something that I have.
Yeah, or your options
because they're
get even
building
more
the
limited.
board out more. I don't know. That's why I'm curious to see if it like is exactly the same, or if it's not. I don't know. But I mean, it was good, not great.
Yeah, good, not great. I feel that way too. All right, Jeff, what you got, man?
All right, last game from me. This is a game from the OP. Don't say it.
Okay. Not gonna.
Natalie?
I just mouthed it.
She did. I didn't even see her mouth it. I just mouthed it. Well, I want to mouth it.
Nobody can hear.
Nobody can hear. I'm not mic'd.
Nobody can hear my mouthing. Okay. This is called Disney's Sorcerer's Arena. And then it's got a colon and it says something else. I'm going to call it Sorcerer's Arena or Disney's Sorcerer's Arena.
Okay.
This is, again, published by the OP, designed by Sean Fletcher, who is a nobody. He has chipped in on some Smash Up games.
Okay.
Since, I don't know who first published Smash Up, but the OP seems to get a lot of games because they have a lot of IPs in terms of Disney and Marvel and all that kind of stuff. So they get certain, for example, the Codenames series is CGE, but Disney Codenames is the OP, and Marvel Codenames is the OP.
Smash Up, it looks like AEG.
Okay, so AEG, but there is a specific Smash Up that is the OP, because they have certain IPs that other people don't have, right? I think that's one of their big pulls is they must obviously have connections with people.
I'm so sorry to do this to you.
Yeah.
I just pulled up Smash Up to see who the publisher was. There's an artist on Smash Up, and the artist says Conceptopolis.
Oh, concept
as the
Topoulos.
artist.
That must be. I wonder if that's
It's like Dave
that one
Alsop,
word?
Bruno Belixa, Conceptopoulos, and Francisco Rico Torres.
Do you remember? Wasn't there a game designer or
Akitoka?
artist that was? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
No, not Akitoka. There was one that was like this college university
Oh, really?
game designing team, and they called themselves
Right.
something.
Right.
Because Akitoka is just like the crew of dudes.
Okay, Conceptopoulos is a company.
Oh, okay.
So just
But it's just funny, yeah, yeah,
It's not someone's name.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, wow, that's what a weird name.
So this is Disney's Sorcerer's Arena. Devin and I also played with the Turning the Tides expansion. This is a 2-player skirmish game.
Oh.
It can be in 2 teams, so you can play with 4 people. And it poses the question: don't you want your favorite Disney characters to kill each other?
Fight.
Oh my god.
And this would be like
Die.
the Disney version of death, right? This isn't like actually dying. This is like getting knocked out, right? Of course.
You
Oh,
killed
yeah.
me.
Like,
There's
yeah.
like stars
So-
circling their head.
Natalie, who's your favorite Disney character?
Oh man.
Or Pixar? Because we got Pixar and Disney. You got one? Ryan, you have your favorite?
No.
I like
Disney
Sully
character?
a lot from Monsters Inc.
Sully
You
is in the
do?
base game.
Oh,
you
cool.
You've played.
Yeah, I
Devin
really
was
like
Sully and like beat me to a pulp with Sully because he's just like he's a big,
huge.
strong
He's
dude.
fucking
a big,
huge.
strong monster. Now you got nobody. You can't name one Disney character.
A Goofy?
Goofy. Goofy is not in the game.
Oh, God.
Ryan!
Mickey is.
How dare you? No. That is disturbing. I don't like that.
I don't like that. This is where I draw the line.
Yeah. You crossed it.
Give me the condom.
Don't want little Mickey babies.
So
No.
Mickey's in this game too.
You're
This is a
ruining
game for
childhood.
children. This is a child's game.
Orichalcum.
Oh man. Well, sorry everyone at the top.
This
This game was already in another. They sent me this a while ago, so
Okay,
I'm playing with
yeah.
house money here. So the first thing you do in this game, which makes the most sense, is you get to draft your characters. You get to pick who you want to control.
Okay.
If you're playing 2 players, like Devin and I did, each player controls 3 characters. If you're playing in teams of 2, each player would then control 2 characters and would be on a team of 4.
Did you say who your favorite
Yeah, who did you
Disney
guys
character?
play?
Well, she was
Okay,
Sully.
so
Well,
yeah.
he said 3 characters.
So I was Aladdin.
Sweet.
I was Moana.
Okay.
Moana was in the Turning the Tides expansion, and then I was Mickey.
Okay.
Sweet.
We faced off against Sully, Gaston, and Ariel.
No
Oh,
one fucks
Ariel.
like Gaston.
Ariel is
no
Devin's
one
first
fucks
pick,
like
of
Gaston.
course. So, because,
I was Ariel when I was a little kid.
yeah, Devin loved Ariel.
Then you
so
turned into a
Ariel
Natalie?
was like
No.
her first pick.
There was my
Really?
neighbor
Ariel's
2
Aladdin.
doors.
Aladdin.
Well, she's a
My
redhead, so.
My neighbors
exactly.
2 doors down had this giant rock in their front yard, and my mom
Was it
still makes
jagged?
fun of me because I would go down there by myself and pretend I was Ariel and like,
And,
go up on the
oh,
rock.
God. I need like video or pictures of that because that would be hilarious for a Patreon.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, that was our 3 versus 3. There are, I want to say 7 or 8 characters, maybe 10 in the base game, and then there are 4 in some of these expansions.
Did you say
that
this?
come
Are they
out.
minis?
They're acrylic
Standees.
standees.
Sweet.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Are they
I'll bet.
colored?
That's
Yes,
cool.
they're-
Well, yeah, that's the
they're
good thing about them.
Awesome. They look
You
great.
can get a paint.
Yeah.
paint the acrylic standee.
Oh, no.
It's like
Just see-through.
Right, it's just like glass.
No, it's not. It's just see-through.
Yeah.
It's just an outline of what they probably would look like.
Is it color?
Yeah, it looks awesome. If you look up pictures, that's like the
I'm
coolest
gonna look it
thing.
up. What's
Yeah,
it called
look 'em
again?
up.
Sorcerer
It's called
City?
The Sorcerer's City. No, it's called Disney's Sorcerer's Arena.
Okay.
And then it's got like a colon and it says something else. And so,
Sorry,
oh,
I
God,
looked
here
up
we
a
go.
joke. Can I tell a joke?
Okay.
Why does the Little Mermaid wear seashells?
It's down by the seashore.
Because she's too big for B shells and too small for D shells.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
Sorcerers, what's it called?
Oh my God, Sorcerer's Arena.
Well, there's Apprentice on here.
Yeah, it's a
Well, it's a
that's what the
movie.
colon is.
Oh.
Apprentice
Oh.
something corset or something like that.
Sorcerers.
Oh Lord.
Arena.
We gave her beer, and this is what happened.
It's not beer. It's hard kombucha.
It's hard cum. It's hard cum.
God. Oh,
Hard kombucha.
people are turning this episode off.
Yeah. Hey, we made it. It's like when Miguel Cabrera got his contract, and he's like, "All right, fuck it."
Check out.
Yeah, it's like we got to
We got to
100. We got
I
to
just
100.
need to
Fuck
see
it.
these
Say that 101
standees.
ruined.
We're gonna get real weird with it.
Real weird with it now. Good luck 101 to 199.
Ooh, those are cool.
I know the acrylic pieces are amazing. So
Why don't
anyway,
they do
you
that
pick your
more?
characters. Each character comes with their own unique matching deck of cards. So I picked Mickey, Aladdin, and the other one. Mickey, Aladdin, and Moana.
That's a good group.
I took all of those cards and I shuffled them together.
Oh, Smash Up style.
Smash Up style. Initiative is set. Hands are drawn. The main board is this kind of ovally shaped hex things where one team starts on one side and the other team starts on the other side.
Like an arena.
And you are going back and forth. So Mickey would go, and then I would activate Mickey, and then maybe Devin activated Ariel, and then I would activate
Do you get to
Moana,
like just pick whoever you want?
It's already set. So right at the beginning of the game, you kind of set initiative. So whoever has the lowest or highest initiative gets to pick, like this person's going first, and then it just goes back and forth.
Okay.
So it's already set. This is like the order. Sort of,
overload.
Yeah. Cafe anxiety.
You can't get away from it.
We'll call it. So on your turn, you activate the character. The character moves, it attacks, and then can also do very cool, unique actions with the cards if you happen to have the cards of that character in your hand at the time. So you can play... I could play an Aladdin card on Mickey's turn to attack 2, or I can play a Mickey card on Mickey's turn, which then does something cool. Like activates his magic broom. Don't say anything. Aladdin does like kind of stealing stuff and then can run away because he's quick.
Like in Fantasia.
Moana sort of can float around on these waves and kind of get extra movements on the waves and add these wave tiles, which is pretty neat.
She's hot.
And yeah,
Moana, she's a child.
No, she is.
Well,
She's like 14.
That movie came out like 10 years ago. She grew up.
She's 24 now.
She's legal now.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And
It's okay to think she's hot.
so
now.
all of this has the goal of essentially KOing the other player's characters. Get close to them or get within range and kind of try to knock out the character. Every time you knock out a character, you get some points. And there is sort of hero click style base things, but they suck, and I'll get to that in a second. They're not like hero clicks. And once someone gets 20 points within a round, that's then the last round. So you finish it, and you total up some points at the end, and whoever has the most points wins.
Okay.
And let me start by saying I love the theme, the production. It felt like there was time taken to put these characters in this game for this reason. The cards were cool. It felt like I was in the Disney world where they were just killing each other. But like, I felt
Very
like this is
authentic.
cool. This is a cool Aladdin card. This is a cool Moana card. Devin would play a card, and I'm like, that's a cool...
Felt thematic to Sully.
Yeah, it was like, Sully was
Sully.
big, and his cards were like about roaring, and Aladdin was, again, hitting things and kind of running away. Moana was on the waves. Gaston was a douchebag. It was like all this. It kind of felt like the theme was there, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I don't love two-player like skirmish games. I don't love heads up like fight, I win. I don't like those kind of games, like a Dice Throne or something like that. Those aren't ones that jump out to me. So this isn't like one of my favorite games. I see the value in it. I think that people are going to like when they play this. If they like those type of skirmish games, I think this is good. There were some cool combos that you could make if you were kind of saving your cards, because every time you get to draw a card and you get to add to your hand. There's another ending condition of the deck running out. As soon as your deck runs out, you're done. So every card in your deck, you can only play at most once.
Okay,
so
like your life points.
You're sort of saving cards and be like, all right, it's Mickey's turn next. Let me save his magic broom so I can fly over there and hit somebody and do this kind of stuff. So there are some good combos. If you don't draw the cards well, you're kind of like, I had a hand of cards and it was Aladdin's turn. I didn't have any Aladdin cards, so I was kind of doing generic actions like, you just got a card to move to or to attack to, right? So that can be frustrating and annoying, but it's, it's a game about Aladdin fighting Gaston.
Right, it's like a Disney game.
No
get over
one's
it.
thick like
And
Gaston. No
I do
one
think
looks like
that there is
one sucks a big fat-
more. I'm talking louder, so I don't have to hear
Singing about Gaston. Get his dick sucked.
Sucking dick. He's getting it.
No, he was sucking dick.
Oh,
You're
he's
right.
the one
No
sucking
one
dick.
sucks
Of
a big
course.
fat fucking dick like Gaston.
I do think so. Each deck has also like a bunch of symbols on it, and you can spend those cards to upgrade your character. And if you pay attention to the symbols on the different character decks, you might have a little more strategy of actually choosing who you want to pick. Like, Moana gives me more blue cards. The blue card lets me upgrade Aladdin. And that's
It's cool you can
maybe one of
synergize them together.
Yeah, so you would want to pay more attention. Devin and I picked characters we liked because it was like our first game. We're like, let's pick it. So next play, we'll probably think about maybe having
How they
some
work
sort of
together.
strategy
Right.
of picking people instead of like, ooh, Mickey, and like grabbing it.
Ooh, I like Sully.
So
Yeah.
exactly. So in terms of maybe things I didn't like, the card quality is a little weak-ish. Not the best. Turning the health dial was really annoying. It sits on, so not red and blue, right? So you're going to have to be able to take the standees off of the health track because they could be
right. They could be on either
right?
team. Yeah,
and you almost have to like pull this little rubber ring off the bottom, turn it, and then click it back on. Push it back
you
on.
can't just click it.
Yeah, you
while
can't
it's-
just turn it. And that was annoying and led to some time of like, what health do I have? Or it like the standee fell. So that was finicky and bothered me as I played. I'm assuming it's probably for like price point to keep this at a probably a $35.
Probably speaks to the card
game.
quality too.
Yeah, and that is me nitpicking because I just want something that's awesome.
Yeah,
all
more
the time.
right.
And summary, I think it's a great family game, great skirmish game for younger kids, especially if you love Disney. If you don't know how to get your kid to the gaming table and you want to play something like this,
buy a Disney
these are
game.
characters that they love.
Yeah.
It is like
They'll, get into
non-stop
it
expandable.
easily.
They can just keep bringing out characters in this world and allowing you to be the Toy Story characters, or you can just be, they can bring out the Cars character. They can do anything.
How many did you say you're in the base game?
You
I wanna
said like
say
10?
or so, and then there's 4 in some of these expansions that are coming out, like the Moana expansion. The Turning Tides had like the water character, some of the water characters, and they just had another recent one out where it was like, I think Maleficent. What's her name?
Yeah, Maleficent.
Yeah, she's in the base game, but there's like some like you can be also like bad characters, right?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
always the happy
Jafar.
one. So you can bring in a lot of these. You can bring in anything, and that's what's really cool about this game. I think could draw an 8-10-year-old to the table who might not
Yeah.
play games. That could bring them in and be like, you get to be these characters you love, and I might kill them, but like you can be these. You can be these people. So I didn't fall in love with the game. I see the value in it. I see the appeal with certain groups, especially Disney lovers and things like that.
Families.
I'd be happy to just like rack this and play it randomly. I'm not going to reach for it all the time because it's just not my flavor of game.
Right.
But man, you got to taste those flavors.
Oh, well, it doesn't have much flavor, but
And then he
I'm
played it and
actually
he's like,
going
oh,
to-
well.
I'm going to send this game to our good friend and listener, Peter. I'm going to send it to him because
What's
he's
up,
coming
Peter?
to Nerdfest.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to send it because he was asking me a lot of questions like, do you think my kids will like it? Does it work with 4? I was like, listen, let me send it to you. You play it. Bring it back to Nerdfest.
that's real nice.
So hopefully maybe he falls in love with it. And either way, you have some awesome looking like acrylics.
Yeah,
that
those
you
looked really cool.
could decorate.
Absolutely.
They just sit on top of
You
a
could paint
shelf.
them. You could paint them because they're all unpainted.
They're just
yeah, it's just
basically like tiny little windows.
kind of outlined in a way that looks like it could be a Disney character.
There's like those things you hang on the windows that you paint.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Those
They're like-
acrylic
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
One-
Yeah, it looks
real,
really cool.
Yeah,
Looking
they
at your
look great.
Instagram posts, and man, does it look good.
Yeah.
real
It does
quick.
look really good.
I know this is like already like past and gone, but back to Jagged Edge. I looked up their songs because I just had
Yeah,
to know what
you
they
know a
sang.
Jagged
We
Edge
know
song.
them, Ryan.
know.
Okay.
You know that song, Let's Get Married?
Going to the chapel
No.
and we're
They're like an R&B group. They're like,
Not
let's
that one.
get
Went to the
married. But what about Where the Party At?
No, I don't
Where
think.
the party at?
Ryan's never been to the party.
I don't.
So he doesn't know
I
where
never
it's
got
at.
invited to parties.
Up in the club. Where the party at?
You can find me in the club. And
No.
That's 50. It's Curtis.
You would know it.
You would know it.
sounds familiar.
Yeah, you know it.
The Gamecasters are hosting a convention. Yes, Nerdfest is now open to the public and admission is completely free. Simply head over to eventcreate.com/Nerdfest. There you will find all the information you need to get registered and hopefully pumped up for the con. So we would love to have you on January 13th, 14th, and 15th to play games and laugh along with us all weekend long. Once again, the website is eventcreate.com/Nerdfest. If you're looking to support the show, maybe consider flushing your money down the Gamecasters toilet by way of our Patreon page. There are 4 different tiers which will get you access to behind-the-scenes content, exclusive content, or content ahead of time. You will also get swag that nobody else has access to, and just the opportunity to help out and support a podcast which you sometimes listen to. We have amazing patrons. Thank you so much for your support, guys. If you'd like to donate to help us pay for things like hosting fees and that blank that Jeff's had his eye on, please head on over to patreon.com/thegamecasters to help out. The The Gamecasters Twitch account has relaunched, and we're live every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday night, streaming board game and video game content and having a blast talking to all of you. If you just simply can't get enough Gamecasters in your day, please consider heading on over to twitch.tv/Gamecasters and give us a follow and maybe a sub. I have the best time streaming for everyone, and it's just a super fun place to unwind after a long day and watch someone who is trash at games play games. Come hang out and engage with me in a way you never thought you had to before, but I'm sorry, you do. Twitch.tv/Gamecasters. Possibly the best way to interact with all of us, though, is via our Discord server. If you go to the Gamecasters Instagram page, you can check out our link tree in our bio to get access to our server. It's a great way to engage with all three of us on a daily basis, as well as meet a bunch of like-minded, awesome people. So check out our Discord server. It's now that time of the show where Jeff asks you a question, you answer it, he reads it, we laugh, rinse, repeat, called the Instagram Inbox.
And now it's time for the Instagram Inbox with the Mad Board Gamer.
Well, Natalie. Butt fucker.
Oh my! I fucked someone's butt?
Man, if you could, oh, wow. How the turntables.
Oh, the turntables. This is a win-win-win.
Win-win.
So,
It's from The Office.
I went on the world of Instagram, okay? And I asked the question, which was a question that we get asked as board gamers, as people with problems who buy too many board games.
Oh, I see.
Tell me how many times that you've been asked this question. Why do you have so many games?
Yeah, it's a... yes,
Why-
I actually
so-
have been asked that question.
Yeah, why do you have so many games? Or
Just walk in the basement
or even
and they're
just
like, why?
Why do you have these?
especially with the attitude.
Oh, because I hate them.
It's the fucking
I love
attitude
things that I hate.
Right.
The
that
derision.
gets me.
The fucking derision. Like,
Yeah.
you stupid...
It goes
aren't you-
hand in hand with like,
You're a grown-up, right?
Oh, you play board games?
Yeah, like, aren't you an adult?
Why do you have so many board games? So I asked our listeners, our community, how do you respond to that?
Yeah.
How do you respond to, why do you have so many board games? So I got answers all over the place.
This is gonna be good.
And I asked for these answers on Friday or Saturday, and is now the following Thursday. So if I missed you, I don't know.
Fuck
Okay,
off.
Yeah.
I can't. This is so far.
I almost died,
beyond
so
when
we all got
actually
thrown
did
off.
This so if I miss you, I apologize in advance. Feel free to yell at me later. It's cool. Kristen Haymarket over on the Discord. Hey, why do you have so many board games? Well, why don't you go fuck yourself? That's how he responds to that. Okay.
I wonder if you actually would ever say that to
No, of
somebody.
course not. But it's really funny to. It's always funny. A man can dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what
Shelley.
you wish you could say.
Why
Who
don't
is
you
our
go fuck
gamer
yourself?
of the week?
Current gamer of the week. Head into the Discord if you want to get involved in that.
Shelly's
Ask her a question
You will
or
find
two.
out a whole bunch of weird stuff about Shelly that you wanted to or didn't want to know. We're learning a lot about
Yep.
you, Shelly.
Like if she was a bird, whose head would she poop on?
I was just gonna say that.
It was me.
Yours.
And if she was a dog, whose
But
leg
she
would she
also
help?
Yeah,
wants
whose
to
leg would she
live
help?
in your brain for a day.
She does. She wants to be in my brain. Which
She
I
wants
think.
nothing to do with me. She doesn't even want to shit on my head or live in my brain.
So it's kind of like good bad for you.
Yeah.
She
there.
wants nothing to
There
do
was
with
some
me.
things
It's really she
related
just wants
to
to.
me.
She wants me to
wants
get to
you.
Natalie.
She wants you.
She wants me to
I know,
get. She wants
everybody
my
wants-
brain so she can nail
Everybody
Natalie.
wants Natalie.
Everybody does.
No.
God. So her
get
answer, why do you have so many games? She says the real question is, why don't you?
Boom. Turn that shit around and answer a question with a question.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
it's the best.
But her real reply, she said, was board games are the most amazing hobby and modern games are all so unique. We love keeping a collection of the ones that we love as we are trying new ones all the time.
That's a polite way to
So
answer
I'm like,
that.
that's a nice way to
Yeah.
answer that. That's probably the nicest that I'm going to have.
And that's why you're the gamer of the week, show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mason Pierce, why do you have so many games? What are you, the police? Also in his arsenal, he says, yeah, but I only have 3 pairs of shoes.
I can't afford shoes when I buy all these games.
Yeah.
What do you need more shoes for?
Well, take it up with the
Nestor
chief
over
of
on the
police.
Discord sent a whole bunch of just memes. Hey, why do you have so many games? What's it to you? Then he also
I'm
said,
like grumpy old man.
then he also said, well, I'm rich, bitch. And he ran, that's a good one.
I'm rich, bitch.
We have Sam, Miss French Toast, our 100th episode guest star and
And the
probably
original gamer of the week.
favorite,
Ooh.
now people's favorite Gamecast.
Yeah, everyone
Yeah,
loves her.
probably.
So that's
Yep.
great.
Everyone
Wait,
loves her.
thanks,
Good
Sam.
job, Sam. Way.
I was 3rd and now I'm 4th, so that's cool.
no,
Sam says, I enjoy having a hobby where fun and intelligent people get to connect. So she buys games. Good answer. Good
Also-
real answer.
Also
Skill
very, very polite.
We got a whole bunch of stuff on the actual Instagram.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the Gamecasters account. Hey, why do you have so many games? Natalie's computer broke, so she couldn't type.
What, you said that?
Yeah.
Oh, because I was
No.
like,
No, the other person that runs the Gamecaster. You said
I think I responded.
you did
to it,
respond.
Too.
NM James likes games. Responds with,
You said this?
Natalie, why do you have so many games? Because my husband has no self-control.
That is totally true.
Yep.
Yep.
It's the only reason.
Mick Dave Mick, why do you have so many games, Mick Dave Mick? Someone, probably Ryan, once told me that chicks dig board game collections.
Chicks to games.
Yeah.
Peter Nuclear Knight, who's been kicked off of social media many times. Why do you have so many board games? Why do you have so
cracks me
many
up.
baby daddies?
Oh. What if it's a male?
Why have so many babies?
Okay.
Why have so many illegitimate
You have
children?
as many babies as Nick Cannon.
Ooh, Nick, how many does
Does he have a lot of babies?
Oh my God. Can I just tell you one quick? I just read something
Yep.
today that
I would also like to say that we took a break a minute ago and Natalie plays 2 Jagged Edge songs. Right? It's
Yeah,
a
she
2-second
did.
break. Okay.
She did.
so Nick Cannon, that's this thing that he's just keeps having baby after baby after baby with all these women.
Isn't he not with Mariah Carey?
Not anymore, but he does have 2 babies with her. But
Damn.
well, they're not babies anymore, but he has 2 children with her. So I just read something today that was like, and it was not a joke. It was like he just announced he was having his 11th child with somebody, and then like a couple weeks later, it got announced that he was having his 12th child with someone else. A few weeks after he was having his 11th child. Like what?
Good for him. Spread your seed, man.
Wow, yeah.
Sure is.
Chicks
He is
dig a guy
strong
with a
in the-
big, gigantic collection.
Board game collection. Hey, Jim Gamer, why do you have so many games? Because I can't stand any of my family or friends.
They're his friends.
I think that's a half joke too.
Yeah.
He's only half kidding.
They keep him company.
Hey, Swoozle, why do you have so many games? I have neither the time nor the crayons to explain this to you.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's one. That's good.
CP Wilson, why do you have so many games? Why not?
Yeah, why
Or
not?
why do you have so few games?
Ooh, burn! Gotcha.
What do you think about that?
Answer that question with a question again.
Caitlin from CP Wilson's
Yeah.
account
Oh yeah.
says, because I want to.
The Crescent City
Okay?
hippie.
I just want to.
I want
I
to.
do what I want.
Fuck off.
Yep.
I like
I'm
the
an
fuck
adult.
you one.
Yep. Curtis Howland. Access to bank accounts and extreme lack of willpower is why he has so many games.
Yeah, you gotta be
Yeah.
honest. You just gotta be honest.
Like Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he also said, just don't ask how many are unplayed.
Right.
Because the real question among gamers are how many are unplayed.
Speaking of that, there was in the Discord not too long ago, there was a few people who were like, my Shelf of Shame is 70 games.
Yeah.
My Shelf of Shame is 95. I may do a giveaway at some point to the person who has the most unplayed games in their collection.
Give him one more.
I'm gonna,
One
yes,
more.
give him one more game unplayed to add to their Shelf of Shame. We
I like that.
yeah.
I'll chip in too. We'll send them
Okay, we'll send him some games.
in your face.
Cool.
The board welder.
In my face.
The board welder over on Instagram. Why do you have so many games? Why do you have so many shoes, Janet?
Janet.
Why? It's true.
Yep. Sean Reisling on Instagram. Why do you have so many
Thank
games?
you for your patronage.
What a dumb fucking question. Yeah. Homemade Soda, why do you have so many games? Because there's no 12-step program for my addiction.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I've tried. I've looked everywhere.
Yeah. You should start.
Homemade Soda also says it gives me a chance to take them as many possible places and not play them. It's a fun game.
It's funny. We went to Joe Jitsu's 24-hour game-a-thon. We walk in the room. I'm like, there are 7,000 games in here.
Yes,
I wonder
so
how many of
many
these are going to
games.
get
A dozen.
played.
Yeah.
yeah.
If
Yeah.
that.
Right. I feel bad. I'm like, Joe's bringing all of these games.
I
He
know.
has to know none of this is going to get played.
So many of them didn't get played, but
Yeah.
it's like the possibility.
Yeah, they
Right.
might.
I got
Yeah.
one more from Homemade Soda. Why do you have so many games? Well, they're cheaper than hookers and blow.
Depending on where you go.
Yep. Yeah. The McMeeples. Why do you have so many board games? They're to hide all my VHS porn tapes.
Oh my god.
They're like hiding behind the shelves. I like
Boner
it.
jams.
You have a
Better half
VCR?
review. Why do you have so many board games? Because sales.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right. Deals.
Tabletop Vibes thinking what all we're all thinking. Why don't you have so many games?
Good.
Which is your problem.
Good point.
Yeah, you should.
Three Little Meeples gives us a good reason
All right.
to have different entertainment experiences. The same reason why most people watch different movies. to have a different experience.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That makes
People
sense.
had like it was not like a weird thing to have a DVD collection that
Or
you
even, like-
display in your living room, surrounded
Yeah.
by your TV. There's like hundreds and hundreds of them.
Or books or CDs.
Yeah, why is games? Fuck people. Literally have sex with
literally-
them. Like I want to have sex with them, as many people as possible.
Yeah, why not?
It's fun.
All right, Ando, Brush Monkey, gets this question from his mother-in-law all the time. And every time he asks back, why are you obsessed with having 12 sets of rims in your basement when you only own 2 cars?
What?
Calling back at someone else's addiction.
Right.
She's obsessed with rims?
I guess
Yeah.
so.
Damn.
That's weirder than board games.
Date night
Rim
dice.
jobs?
It's that or crack, so I'll take games.
One of the two. It's
Yeah.
cheaper than crack.
Yep.
It's true.
It is cheaper.
Brett Spielglock
Look.
says you can't have too many.
It's true.
Yep. Mr. Measles says it's all Mick Dave Mick's fault. Thanks a lot, Mick Dave
Yeah,
Mick.
he's his dealer. He's his muse.
Bavarian Meeple says because everyone is unique. All right.
Yeah.
It's cute.
Why do you have so many games? Because everyone's unique. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that when people say, like, why do you have so many games?
They're all different.
Well, not oh, okay. He meant, okay. I thought he meant,
games?
like, no, you're right. Why all the games are unique. I more
Oh, I
mean,
think,
everybody's
I am
got their,
unique. Let me
everybody's
be
got their
who I
fucking
am.
thing. Yeah, like, everyone's got their
Yeah.
goddamn
I thought
thing.
he meant like they're all different. That's why I have so
obviously,
many.
I fucking love these goddamn things.
Yeah.
You stupid piece of fucking shit.
Stupid idiot.
Get back in your basement.
Rogue Trout Games. Why do you have so many games? I'm seeking a higher consciousness. Charlotte.
Because I'm smarter than you.
The Diced Onion. The Diced Onion over on
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
the Discord.
All right. He's going to hear this in about
So,
40
that-
episodes.
Yeah.
Is that what he
right.
said?
It's okay.
From Dead
Okay,
Last.
time out. This says, he messaged me and said, Instagram inbox answer. Because the only joy I have left is bathing in the tears of those I have defeated.
Nice.
Why is so many games? And then the second message he sent me, maybe in 40 episodes I'll hear myself.
Oh, yes.
Has something to look forward to.
Yep.
My goodness.
We'll be 40 episodes beyond this joke when he hears it and laughs.
Oh man, he'll laugh in like
Maybe
few
we should make a
weeks.
note of it in 40 episodes.
Maybe in like
Every
a couple
40
months.
episodes,
Every
we
40
should
episodes,
mention
we'll make a
he's
joke
40
about
episodes
Diced
behind.
Onion.
Over on Facebook, John Kalinsky says he has 0 self-control. I
Yeah,
get
0.
that.
Right. I have
Yep.
so many games because I have 0 self-control.
Yep.
That's
Stephen
I like that
Raiola
one.
over on the Facebook page.
a
Why do you watch
thief.
so many sports games?
Boom.
Why do you have so many X amount of clothings?
Ooh, got
I
him.
do like.
And then he says,
clothing.
worry about your own shit. Boom.
That's my point there. Yeah. Like everyone's got their fucking thing.
Yeah, mind your own business.
Michael Vanoy says it's probably a mental illness. Mind your own business.
Mind your own business.
There it is.
That's what mine would have been. Why do you have so
There
many
it is.
games, Jeff? Mind your own business.
Mind your own fucking
Okay.
business.
Peter Riggs likes to tell people that if there is an apocalypse, that they will be really happy he had all the games with no electricity.
That's a good point.
Exactly right.
Yep. And Stephen Raiola also said, if you think he has too many board games, you should see his bourbon and whiskey collection.
Oh, yeah.
I bet nobody would
Man
be like,
likes
"Why
his
do you have so
bourbon
much
and
bourbon and whiskey?"
That's what I mean. That's like a socially
like an
acceptable thing to
acceptable-
have.
yeah.
Just like a stupid DVD collection.
Yep.
Although I had lots of DVDs too.
Stupid
Me too.
DVD.
I know at some point I took them back to like a play it again sports equivalent.
You're right.
Yeah,
right.
just
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have many.
Brian Lyles, which we all want to say, just says, why don't you have so many games?
Yeah, why not?
And Plurpy says, they're fun to play and I like having them, so shut the hell up.
Shut the
I added the last part.
Oh, okay.
That's it. That's our Instagram inbox answers of why do you have so many games?
I think every single one of
What's
those
your
I agreed
problem?
with.
I know,
I was
seriously.
answered in the affirmative to every
God.
single one of those things.
I know, and this is that attitude.
Yeah.
Shut up.
So
Yeah.
condescending.
Mind your own damn
It's weird. It's funny to
business.
say. Like, I actually have had people say that.
I know. Like a few. Why do you have so many?
I've wondered.
Why are
It's like
why?
seriously though. Like, why do you think? Like, obviously, I like playing.
can you
them.
not
like? Is
actually
there any other
intuit?
reason?
Yeah,
Why do you have so many books?
Oh, I don't know. I accidentally
to
got
read.
them. I accidentally bought
Yeah.
them.
Like,
I
what
don't
the
know.
fuck do you expect me to say, you stupid fuck? Why don't you step inside? Come on, it's warm in there. You think you found some grass, but nope, it's pubic hair. You wonder why there's so much underwear. You stepped inside of Natalie's Nook.
Today on Natalie's Nook, I have a new topic for you. Do you want to hear it?
Good. I'm glad we're not doing
do.
the old topic.
I do. Let's
See
go
it,
back to
Natalie's
the
Nook.
old
We're going
one.
to do last episode.
Yeah.
Today's topic is when is a game considered?
What is it?
I said when is a game considered a classic? You interrupted my topic.
I'm sorry.
Ooh, boy.
You're like, when is a game? When is it a game? Sorry, I'm sorry. When is it a classy?
Ooh, that's one classy game. Ooh, what's that game wearing a tuxedo?
Yes, when is a game considered a classy?
Whoa.
Classy or not
game.
classy? All right, I'm gonna ask him questions for
Okay.
you.
Okay.
When is a game a classic?
a classic?
Is it the amount of time that passes? Is it the popularity? Is it because it's universally liked? Does it stand the test of time? Or is it because it starts a trend that other games build off of? What are your thoughts?
Oh, do we want to
Are we allowed to?
questions?
We speak now?
Yeah, can we talk?
My God.
No, I just mean like, do you
Yeah,
have
you
more?
said-
Yes.
Or
No, that's it.
okay, you want to go? You want to?
What was the
Jeff?
first thing you said?
Okay.
Is it blank? And then let's talk about that one. Is
Okay.
it
Does
age?
is it that it stands? Okay. Is it a certain amount of time that passes that would be one reason that
I
something
do
is considered
think
a classic?
that is a big reason.
I mean, obviously,
Agreed.
new games can't be a classic if they're brand new.
There's sometimes you will
Like,
throw
oh,
the
it's
term around
modern.
instant classic
Yeah,
or
instant-
modern
modern
classic.
classic.
But yeah, I do think to be categorized as a classic board game, some time has have to pass. I don't know what that time is, but it can't be like
Probably varies.
Arc Nova classic. You can't
No.
call Arc Nova
Right.
classic.
Arc Nova would be one that I could see somebody saying, I think that's a modern classic. But that even when someone says it's a modern classic or it's an instant classic, that doesn't, I don't feel like that's really what they mean. I feel like they just mean like, this is going to be one of the better games.
yeah.
Right? But a classic, I feel like, definitely has to have stood the test of time.
Yeah.
Specifically. Like, that's
I
one of the
agree.
major components for classicness.
Should we put a timestamp on it? Is it 10
say,
years?
I think it's more than 10 years. But yeah, 10 years probably now in
Like,
this
what's
day and
a
age.
game that you think is considered a classic in this hobby?
Carcassonne.
That's the same one I thought. Is that more than
Carcassonne,
10 years
I think
old?
Yeah, Carcassonne came out in like
Catan
2001.
is Catan has for I
Yeah,
don't like
Catan
Yeah.
is a
That has
classic.
to be a classic.
Ticket to Ride. Those
I think Castles of Burgundy is a classic.
at this
Yeah.
point now, I think it is.
I think
Yeah.
I would call that a classic too. And I agree. Yeah, it definitely has to stand the test of time. If the game is really popular and then later on it just kind of fizzles out, that's definitely not a classic.
Most games nowadays
Yeah,
is like that.
yeah. I mean, if it was my personal definition, I'd say even longer than 10 years. Because like even Castle of Burgundy, like man, that's a classic. But I also feel like calling it classic, it's newer than that. Like,
I would almost say like if that is a classic, it's like just became a
right. Like it's very
classic.
close. It's close. But yeah, I think time is a big component. What was the next question?
Popularity.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to. I mean, for
Yeah.
sure.
I think so too. It's like
Well, because otherwise, if it's not popular, then it's just a class. It's not like the term classic is like a universally accepted term.
right. Well,
Right.
I think something like Catan or Carcassonne.
Those are wildly.
You
popular.
say those names, and like even if you haven't played them, everybody knows about them. Everybody's heard of them. Everybody,
Yeah.
they know what those games are because they're obviously popular. And so I don't think it could be considered classic if it wasn't very
Yeah, those two
popular.
words almost go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You can't have one without the other.
Right.
Right. And then also universally liked, obviously, kind of goes with popular, but like
Yeah, you like
I guess something can be popular and that like there's still like a big group who doesn't like them, but I feel like universally liked definitely needs to be in the classic category because if it's a classic, it can't be a game that people like
would
half the
almost say-
population doesn't care for.
universally is a hard thing to say, right? But I would almost want to say like if we're going to universally, I would almost say universally played
Yeah. Okay.
would
Yeah.
be something that would have to categorize a classic. Like I can't categorize classic games that many people don't own or many people don't play, which sometimes puts in this world of like Kickstarter. When you get Kickstarters and they only have 300 copies that get sent out, like it's hard for that game to become a classic even in 10 years for how good it is and for how many people like it. I think it needs to be played by a lot of people.
Yeah, universally liked though. I don't know. I mean, like consider a game like Cosmic Encounter. I would say Cosmic Encounter is a classic. Cosmic Encounter came out in like the 70s. But I don't know if, I mean, is it universally liked? There's a
Yeah,
lot of
maybe
people
not.
that don't like that game.
Do you think that's a popular game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think it's extremely popular. A game like Can't Stop, I would also call classic. That came out in like 1980.
80s.
Yeah.
Right? But there's a lot of people, you included, that don't like it at all.
Yeah.
So,
But played, right? More
Played,
people
yeah.
have to, this
That's
game has to
true.
be I don't want to call it a target game, right? But it almost like the 20-year ago equivalent to a target game where people are playing it. Like
Yeah.
lots of people are playing
Like-
it, experiencing
like it or
the
not,
game.
Monopoly is a classic.
Right. Yes.
You
Even
know?
stuff like Yahtzee or whatever.
Yeah, Yahtzee. Those games are classic. Are they universally liked now? I don't know. They just have. I think a clear indication is standing the test of time.
That's probably the number one.
That seems like the number one thing to become a classic. Like a game like Cosmic Encounter has survived, almost 50 years, right? Or Can't Stop, has been around for over 40 years and it's still selling.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Can you do me a favor? Can you pull up
classic.
the top like the Board Game Geek like top 100, something I always look at, and we've always talked about, is when you look at this game and go, wow, this game came out 12 years ago and it's still number 50 or it's still something. And those are obviously stand the test of time through some of these great games that are coming out, or through some of just the hot games that are coming out, who get their 15 minutes of burn and then go really high.
The oldest game in the top 10 is War of the Ring, 2nd edition, came out in 2011.
Okay. And that would be the Burgundy year also.
That's Burgundy as well. Then that is the oldest game until number 17, Castle Burgundy, which is the same year. Then Brass initially came out in 2007. But the new version is what's gotten super popular.
Okay.
That is because I don't even know if War of the Ring, if I would be like, that's a classic game. So why would I say Castles of Burgundy? So maybe I'm taking back my statement.
That's why I think 10 years is not long enough.
It back.
Yeah, I think it might not be long enough. Cut it out. Say the batteries.
I know that like War of the Ring is
now 37. Number 37 came out in 2002, and it's Puerto Rico. And that's pretty much considered. I think that's considered classic territory at this point.
Yep.
And that's why I think standing the test of time is almost the sole indicator. Power Grid came out in 2004.
Okay.
Number 52. That's pretty much got classic territory there. Number 54 is Crokinole. Crokinole is still number 54.
Wow.
I don't know if it's old enough yet. It only came out in 1800s or something like that.
So, what about Go? Those two.
Oh yeah, I don't know if they have enough time in this.
Chess has really come back with the anal bead expansion.
True.
So that really have really,
people are really feeling that one.
Yeah, they're feeling that
one.
But that's the oldest game, obviously, is Crokinole so far. But other than that, it seems like Puerto Rico is the oldest game in the top 100 at 2000 and the year 2002, which is 20 years ago now. But it's the only game. Most games are about 2015 or newer.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
The hot is.
Yeah. The hotness.
Right. Yeah.
Cult of the New basically does that.
Well, do you think another reason that something becomes a classic, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, sucks a lot of dick. Right.
So what if there's a game that kind of starts a trend that other games build off of? It's like the original game that did this, and then all the other games takes a mechanic from that.
You mean like Dominion?
Yeah.
I like that.
That's
I think Dominion you could call that
classic.
the classic card deck building game.
Yeah.
But I also don't know if I would consider Dominion to be classic status at this point.
Yeah, but it did something.
It definitely,
right?
So I think that does contribute to that, or it could be like an offshoot. It's not classic in the way
the original deck building game that was really popular.
It definitely popularized.
Would that make it a classic or not really?
I don't know if that really matters for classic status. I think it's more likely to become classic because of that, probably because obviously if a game was good enough or did something enough that it spawned a whole genre, it's more likely to become classic, I would say. But I don't know that is an inherent necessity to get that status. Yeah. I really think as we've been talking about this, length of time that it's been around and has it stood that test of time. Those
are the two.
To me, I think that's the only thing that feels in the sweet spot that we've been talking about. Everything else kind of is I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a subjective term.
Oh yeah, for sure. But there definitely are games where you mention it and most people will be like, yeah, that's classic.
Right, that's a classic.
Yeah, I'd be interested to talk about it in on episode 6,000 when we're at 10 years from now.
Yeah, how do we feel about now?
What game that came out 10 years
yeah.
Are people going to call Castles of Burgundy War of the Ring? Are they going to call that classic in 10 years?
Yeah.
When it's now 20 years old?
Right.
That's interesting
it's
to
tough
me.
To know.
And now there's so many people getting into this hobby for even how small it is. People are still getting into this hobby.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of what, Ryan has called in the past gatekeeping, right? You need to have played these games in order to be a gamer. That isn't true anymore. So in 20 years, is Splendor going to be... Splendor's a classic. Azul is a classic.
Yeah.
And these are these gateway games now that brought a whole bunch of people in. Mm-hmm. Does that make it a classic? Carcassonne brought a shitload of people into the hobby.
For sure.
So is that a classic because it brought people into the hobby?
But when Carcassonne was made, there probably was not the volume of games that there are now coming out constantly.
Absolutely not.
So
back then you could maybe almost play them all.
Is it harder to get into that classic category these days because there's so much and it's so flooded?
Well, yeah, I think it will be in the future.
Yeah. I mean, like games coming out now that may eventually become classic. Is that harder because there's so much.
Totally.
Where like Carcassonne Days.
Yeah, it didn't have to compete with as much.
Yeah, or even like Monopoly Days. Like there's not that much out there that's good where a lot of people.
You're right. That's
love
true.
And becomes
Standing
popular.
the time, games like that I've played recently that I could see like, man, this game is going to be classic is like hard to see. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could kind of see, you know, even if there's a game you love, you could still kind of see it fading out after you play it so many times.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. It's an interesting topic of discussion.
Yeah, people do the same thing with movies. Like, oh, it's a classic movie. And sometimes when you're a classic, you just stay a classic. And now that everyone has called these things classic, maybe no one calls anything classic from here on out. Maybe nothing that comes out in this day and age of tens of thousands of games coming out every year, maybe nothing's classic anymore. Because of the massive volume.
Yeah. It's a different time.
Will something hold the test of time that's coming out now with just a massive wave? Like,
it seems like it's going to be so much harder to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the top 100 is probably an indicator where it's like,
stay.
All that stuff in there is going to get replaced by what's coming up in the next 10 years.
What's the two games
that
that might
one or
hang
two
on?
game might stick around for a while.
And then people are going to look at Puerto Rico and be like, Puerto Rico's 40 years old.
Right.
Wow,
Right.
it's number 105.
Well, it's funny too because like I don't know. I'm trying to think of like in the last several years, what is like the most popular movie I can think of, and the first one that comes to mind is something like Avengers, you know, Infinity War or whatever that one is, and like. Could you imagine that being a classic movie later on?
Right,
No,
like,
I
those
can't.
kind of movies
but like,
don't get classic status.
Yeah, but so like, but there's no all other movies these days are just like,
yeah, TV's better.
nothing stands out.
TV's better.
Yeah,
like I couldn't imagine 20 years calling Gloomhaven a classic, but it's the number one game. It's going to be the number one game for a long time.
Right.
But I could imagine maybe in 30 years being like calling a game. I don't love this game, but like Wingspan. Is that a game that could be? It brought a lot of people in. You could buy it at Target. It's a mass culture sort of game. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's hard to know. But I do like that topic. That was a good one.
Thanks, Natalie's.
Do you have anything you want to end it with, Natalie?
Nope.
All right, good. Fuck it. For today's game of the episode, we're going to play a new game I'm calling Wait in Line. Only it's spelled WEIGHT. I'm going to give you each 5 games.
Some weights.
Here's what you have to do. You got to put them in order from lightest to heaviest, according to what you think their weights are.
Oh, boy.
Whoever gets the most of them
BGG?
correct, according to BGG. Okay. I mean, you can't check, obviously, but you know what? Just gotta kind of go by thought. Okay, so Jeff, I'm going to give you 5 games. Natalie, I'm going to give you 5 games, and I want you guys to try to order them from lightest to heaviest. Okay. Jeff, here's your 5.
Here's my 5.
All right. Arc Nova.
Arc Nova.
Terra Mystica.
Terra Mystica.
Orléans.
Orléans.
Toi. Terraforming Mars.
Terraforming.
Oh my god.
Natalie, you ready for yours?
Yeah.
Planet Unknown.
God, if Natalie,
What?
if you get like, I'm gonna be so
Planet Unknown.
If this is just like
crisscross.
baby's first, yeah,
On
this is like
Mars.
baby's first thing. I'm gonna hit you with a bell.
Me? He made this game.
Here's what I'll tell you. Jeff's
Mine are heavier.
are heavier. Natalie's are not. Okay. So number 2, Metro Exa.
Okay.
Metro 6.
Number 3, the Guild of Merchant Explorers.
Okay.
Number 4, Decorum.
Okay.
And number 5, Turing Machine.
Yeah, write that down.
Can you guys put these in order
Oh snap!
from lightest to heaviest?
Are we gonna get some like? Doo, 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 doo.
Well, there's always music going on in the background. You mean you want me to put you on a timer?
No, I just didn't know. We're obviously gonna be quiet for a minute.
I can regale you with more Gaston stuff.
I
tell
use
some of
that
these stories.
losing
My cock
all
leg.
of
Okay,
my
while you guys are
medical
figuring this out,
bills.
I will tell you another D story. That's a great idea.
Wait, so we go lightest to heaviest or other
Just
way?
go in order and we'll figure it out from there.
Yeah, lightest to heaviest, yes.
Or if you go heaviest to lightest, then we'll just pretend we got it right.
All right, let me see. While you guys are doing that, I will pick a D story that I think is funny. Okay, I'm going to tell the Gazelle. This one's called The Gazelle. This one involves my friend
this
Chris,
one.
and it's
I thought it'd be
really
Tony.
good. Tony Little.
Tony Little.
Tony Little. If anybody knows Tony Little and his invention called the Gazelle,
The Gazelle.
which is basically like an elliptical.
Yeah, it's an
Is basically what
it's
it
like
is.
A standing. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got one of these. My dad loved all... You've heard me talk about these stories before. He loved all manner of gadgetry and, anything he could, like, tool around with or play with. He just loved that stuff. So when he... So if he could combine this gadgetry with also getting in shape, that'd be pretty sweet, right? So we got the Gazelle, and it was in the base, and it was in our basement for years. And he never fucking used the damn thing. Like everyone does with exercise equipment. He never fucking used it. But for like a week or two, he did. One day, if you know the Gazelle, it was like an elliptical, but basically your legs just like went up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay. So I have a buddy of mine over. This is so funny. And he's like over for the night. And so we like spent the night, and he slept in the basement. Right? I slept in my bedroom. He slept in the basement. So my dad was on this little workout kick, and he's not going to let someone fucking sleeping in the basement mess up his workout plan. So at like 6 a.m.
Ryan, your friends are sleeping in the basement.
At like 6 a.m., my buddy Chris, he's asleep, or he's awake, but he's pretending to be asleep. He wakes up to the sound, and he's like, "What the fuck is that noise?" And he like lifts his head up and turns around, and there's my dad right behind him, just like, and he locks eyes with him, and my dad just goes, "Shh, it's okay, buddy, I'm just working out."
Go back.
Like, yeah, go back to sleep.
And what did Chris do?
And Chris just like went like, okay, just like turn around and close eyes. All I hear is just. And he told me about it afterward. It's the funniest goddamn thing. Shit, but it's okay. Just go back to sleep. How are you gonna fucking go back to sleep when your friend's dad is
it's so awkward
right behind your head? If you know the Gazelle, your legs went up like really high, like you're skiing,
like perpendicular to the ground.
Yeah,
wearing his workout pants.
I always wore the same blue sweatpants. He had these blue tapered sweatpants with at the bottom of the ankle was like elastic. They were like this fucking color blue. Like I'm trying to think of something I can compare this color, like the Carcassonne box.
Oh.
The original Carcassonne box blue.
Like
that was his sweatpants. Yeah, like a royal blue sweatpants. He always wore, whether he was working out,
working it.
Yeah, he would just do that. All right, Jeff, you got it?
Well, I have something.
I know.
Why don't you see if you can put these damn things in order from the lightest to heaviest?
I think.
Okay.
Am I just going to get like a buzzer if I'm wrong?
No, just
tell
put
me
them in order, and I'll tell you what's wrong.
I think Terraforming Mars is
Okay.
the lightest.
Okay.
I think Orleans is number 2.
Gotcha.
I think Terra Mystica is 3.
Okay.
Trois
Trois.
is number 4.
Okay.
And Arc Nova is 5.
Okay. Okay.
I got none of those right.
I'm sure I got none of mine
Hold on,
right.
let's see.
I am
Jeff
not.
You said Terraforming Mars
Terraforming Mars,
was 1. Orleans was 2.
Orleans, Terra Misty.
Orleans, yeah. 2. Okay. Terra Misty is 3.
Yep. Troyes.
Troyes
4.
4.
Arc Nova 5.
Arc Nova 5. Okay, Natalie, why don't you tell me yours, and then I will reveal these. What do you think, Natalie?
Okay. 1.
Okay.
Metro X.
Metro X 1. Okay.
2.
Yep. You don't have it?
I do, but I'm just so unsure about all
Okay.
of this.
Let's see.
Decorum.
Okay.
3. Touring Machine. 4. Planet Unknown. 5. Guild of Merchant Explorers. I probably got every single one wrong.
No. Well.
I feel
It's
only
just an
confident
order.
about one of them.
All right. Here we go. So, for Jeff, number 1, the lightest game of the bunch, in fact, at 3.04. These are all in the 3s, by the way, is Orleans.
Damn.
Oh.
Okay. Number 2 at 3.25 is Terraforming Mark. So you just flip-flop those. You just flip-flop those. Number 3.
I had that written down. I drew a line.
Did you really? And then you switched them? Oh, I switched them. Number 3 at 3.46 is Trois, which you had as number 4, so you're getting close. Number 4 at 3.7 is Arc Nova. And the heaviest of the bunch at 3.97 is Terra Mystica. And number 5.
3.97.
3.97.
I disagree, but okay.
yeah. Natalie, number 1 is at 1.78 Metro X, which
That's
you
the only one I felt
that you
confident
correctly
about.
guessed. Number 2 at 1.91 is Decorum, which you also got correct.
Oh, wow.
Number 3 at 2.12 is the Guild of Merchant Explorers, which you said was the heaviest. Fine.
know.
Number 3
They're all the same.
at 2.25 is Planet Unknown. which is number 4.
Turing Machine is the
And the heaviest game at 2.57 is Turing Machine.
Really?
Which is number 3.
That is not that heavy.
Well, all of those were not that heavy.
I mean, yeah, I know.
You know,
but
you went from 1.78 to 2.57.
I'm sorry, but
and same with Jeff. He went from 3.04 to 3.97. So not even a whole digit.
Yeah.
You know, they're
Turing
tough.
Machine seems a lot simpler than the
Well, for some people.
Hard on your brain. You've also played the easy ones. Maybe
True.
once you get to the
That's true.
But also,
brain burnies.
people's brains don't all work the same way
Yeah.
for that stuff. That's kind of a difficult
Natalie's so
puzzle.
smart.
I even kind of
That's
felt
all the letters.
I was like
She
nervous
knows
about
about
putting decorum as 2 because I was like that's actually kind of hard sometimes.
For sure. I'm just working out. It's okay. Go back to sleep.
It's okay, buddy. Look at me. Look at me. Go to sleep. It's gonna be okay.
So that was Wait in Line, the first and probably last time we'll ever do that game, but
Wait
that's
in
okay. They
Line.
can't all be winners. For today's top 5, the episode, we're going to talk about games we have cooled on, that we were hot on before. Jeff came up with this one many, many moons ago. We kind of forgot to get around to it. Now we're getting around to it. It's going to be great. So we're going to go Natalie, me, and then end with Jeff for this one. So Natalie, why don't you tell me your number 5 game that you were hot on? You were like, oh man, this game's great. And then
Hot.
and now you kind of cooled on it.
Okay.
Over the years or however long.
Okay. Attraction.
Okay. For me, number
No, this is a game where like
we did play the shit
it's a
out
really
of this
simple game. We play the
Ryan played it with Richard Lanius. Sassy from Ted Lasso.
He got it.
Nice.
He totally got it.
No, it's a game we played a lot and it was like super fun, but like I don't know, for some reason I just have zero interest in ever playing it again. Like Ryan's always like, let's play this,
Oh,
bring
wow.
this. And I'm just like,
Is it because she's jealous? I think it's because is it really the Richard Lanius thing that
No.
comes with
Well,
it? It's okay.
You're not Richard Lanius.
I
so
mean,
is that...
it's not.
I mean
I don't compare you two when
it
I'm
was
playing
like
it.
I know it's just like throwing some magnets at each other, which for some reason early on it was like, this is so fun, and now I'm just like, oh, this is
Yeah,
not
you've
that fun.
cooled. It was
Yeah.
No, you've cooled
that's
on
it.
it.
It's the
I
name of the game.
understand. That's the name.
That's the whole
Number
point.
5 for me is the entire reason I have a TV in my gaming room. And I was so hot on this game. It was in my top 10 for years. Like in my time, it might have been in my top 5. I loved it so much. It was Mansions of Madness 2nd edition.
Yeah.
It is now out of my collection completely.
Ooh, bye.
I had
And the
we
TV gone.
played with it.
Yep.
Here you got. This is
TV.
necessary for it. I played the absolute living shit out of this game. Played like all the scenarios for the base game. I had like a bunch of expansions for it. Played a bunch of them, and then after a while, it just kind of, I don't know. We just moved beyond it, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of replaced for me by Forgotten Waters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeff, what is your number 5?
So these are all games that no one's saying that these games are bad.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
I
no.
actually like a few of the games on my list. Again, just cooling. Like I'm not reaching for them like I
Right.
want to. They're not
like I still
sizzling.
play them, but I'm not as excited as I once was.
Yeah. My number 5 is a game that kind of got me into the hobby and even into my like favorite mechanism of worker placement, which is Lords of Waterdeep.
Yeah.
I will play that game whenever it comes out. I will play it with like Dave loves it and he picks it and I'm like, cool, I'm into it. But like, I just never feel myself wanting to reach for it at game night anymore.
Yeah.
And because I've been in the hobby for a while and like you said, it just kind of moved beyond. There's other worker placement games I want to play.
Sure.
There's other kind of things. And
And it was great in its time.
yeah.
When
And I'm never getting rid of it. It's going to stay in my collection. I got those cool upgraded little tiny mini things.
but it had a great day. It had its,
And now I'm
had
just,
its
it's
day.
like there. I look at it. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for the
Yeah.
time.
Thanks
Yeah,
for the
you
good
really
times.
you really
Yeah.
did what you were
LOWD.
intended to do.
Lords of Waterdeep.
Loud. Natalie, what was your number 4?
Okay, don't be mad at me. But my number
I
4
love when it starts out like that.
is The Mind.
Why am I mad? I wouldn't be mad at you.
So that's one of those games where like
What the fuck?
we were like had some of the greatest times ever
Yeah.
playing that game, but like I literally will ever only want to play it with the 4 people that we
Yes.
played it with, and so
Agreed.
because of that I just don't really care to play it unless
yeah,
it's in
you're
that
totally
exact
right.
I think that
scenario.
is a good answer.
The 4 of us, meaning Natalie, Jeff, Dave, Donkey Kong, and I agree. That's like the only group that I like. If we're 4 of us together, it's like we got to play The Mind, right? Mm-hmm. Other than that, it's kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Right.
That's a good pick, actually. Number 4 for me is another one, kind of like Natalie's Attraction, that we played like fucking crazy when it first came out at Conifer Game Night, which is the work game that we do. I feel like this is like, I'd be like, okay, guys, we're going to sit down and we're going to play Happy Salmon. And we're going to play Happy Salmon 1,000 times in a row. and it is the most fun, raucous, good time ever. And I never think to play this game anymore, ever, and I'm fine with that. And I honestly feel the way about this list. Kind of Jeff made me feel about it a second ago. When we were talking about Lords of Waterdeep. These were great games in their day. I was really happy. Like, Happy Salmon was awesome that it came out so much, and I was really excited about it. And I've kind of moved beyond it, and now I'm happy with that too.
Thank you for giving me the moment.
Thank you for those moments, Happy Salmon.
I agree with the Happy Salmon one. I used to introduce that to my students all the time.
Yeah.
And I've actually moved the game that has almost replaced that in how I introduce some games is Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
It's just as silly. It's just as raucous. But it's less.
But it's new and fresh.
Yeah, it's new and fresh. In comparison,
and you don't have to smack each other. Yeah.
My number 4 is a game that I loved, and but again, just don't feel like it's sizzling as I want it to be. Dead of Winter.
Yeah,
I really like that game. Played through a lot of the scenarios, and just don't see myself grabbing it as much anymore, or wanting the urge to grab it. But again, I like it. I like the whole secret trader thing. I thought. I don't know if I played a game like that before. It was always the game that was like, I never really liked Zombicide much. This was like the zombie game that I wanted.
Yeah.
Cool zombies. And zombies themselves as a theme, as a pop culture thing, has sort of fizzled.
It has.
A little bit.
That was the thing.
Also fizzled my love for Dead of Winter a wee bit.
Yeah.
Thanks for the times, Dead of Winter.
Thanks for the time.
DOW.
All right, Natalie, what's your number 3?
Dow.
Yeah.
Loud and dow.
Dow, ow, loud.
Okay, again, don't be mad at me.
Brown cow.
I'm mad again.
Hey, that's me.
I was scared to tell you about this one.
This is going in 200. This is going in episode 200. All right, Natalie, what's your... God damn it, that's funny. All right,
Okay, my number 3 is Forgotten Waters.
Oh, fuck me.
Oh, man. Oh, replace Ryan's
with Mansions of Madness. Replace it. I'd rather play Mansions of Madness.
Yeah. So this is... Okay, here's what I want to clarify. I like Forgotten Waters, and I would play Forgotten Waters, but am I going to be super pumped to play it? Nah. I feel like the last 2 times we played it, it just like went on forever.
And that's the one problem with it.
And it
goes
was
too
like,
long.
it just was kind of like a, all right. Like, it just seems, it seems like I don't know, it just seems like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And to get the same people together, and I don't know, it's just kind of, it made me cool on it. Because of all of this stuff to like.
Don't hate me.
Jeff, you married us. Can you divorce us too?
Yes.
Number
Natalie,
3. Do you no longer
Ryan
take Ryan
as your husband in arms?
I don't even know how to answer that. Does yes mean?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
that's one.
You say yes, okay. Yeah.
You're done.
When you say mine, say,
And
will
cut.
you take her from... Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3 for me is a game. I'm kind of surprised about this one. I was really excited about it when we played it at Gen Con last year. I think it was last year. Not this recent year. I think it was last year. And I felt like, I'm like, this is going to be our new 2-player game. This is all we're going to play when it's just 2 of us. And we did for a while. We played it probably 5 or 6 times, like right away. And I was like, oh yeah, this is so good. And for some reason, we just kind of haven't been back to it. And that's Land vs. Sea.
Yeah.
Really, really, really enjoyed it when it first came out. We even played it on stream. That was a really fun play. And in the team game that we did, right? That was really fun. But yeah, I just kind of cooled on it. When we're alone with 2 players now, we just reach for the old standbys like Codenames Duet and stuff like that. And yeah, so I've just cooled on it a little bit. I still like it. I think it's a really good game. It's not that I don't think it's good. I'm just not. The excitement level is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Jeff, what about you? What's your number 3?
That'll lead in my number 3 of Codenames.
Perfect.
I don't know if I have an interest to play Codenames a ton anymore.
Yeah.
I think there are party games that have replaced that, like Just One, like So Clover, Green Team Wins. I think it's amazing. I know Codenames is amazing. It's still like, I don't want to say one of my favorites, but it's a great game, and I would play it a lot. But I'm not reaching for it. I've cooled on that. I'm gonna play 5 other party games, 5 other team games before I think I grab Codenames anymore.
Yeah,
sure.
Codenames Duet, I thought might have sparked the interest back again. Devin and I played a few times, and we haven't gone back to it.
Yeah.
For various reasons, school and just things like that happening. We had another kid, all that kind of stuff. But
sure, that'll do it.
So yeah, that cooled it for me. Code
I feel like
Gotcha.
I feel the same for regular Codenames.
Yeah.
I mean, Codenames Duet. We actually just played that like last week.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
That was
but
definitely
regular
more-
I agree.
Codenames, I don't see us ever like bringing that because
Right, to
there's
an
all these
event
other
with 8
games.
people, right?
It's
You
kind
got
of like
something
what
We're
you
just
said.
not as excited about it in comparison to the
Yeah.
newer party games that have come
Yeah,
out.
I think we talked about it last episode 100, about the party games where it's like,
Baton. Handing the baton off.
yeah, it hands the baton over. Like you kind of like trying to find the next best one because those ones don't. You kind of get a little burnt out.
Well, because
when you play
they're
them
conducive
over
to
and over.
playing them a ton.
Right.
And then when a new one comes out, it's fresh, and they're always like the same kind of fun. You know,
Right,
they
yeah.
itch the same, they scratch the same itch.
Yeah.
Natalie, what is your number 2? Are we at number 2?
Yeah.
What's number 2?
Number 2. My number 2 is Rolling Realms. That's a game when we first played that, I was like,
Yeah.
this is awesome.
I kind of
I like
agree. It's a
really
good one.
liked it. And then I feel like every subsequent play was like less and less and less
Yeah.
exciting. And now it's like, I don't really care about it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you.
I get that.
I like it. I still like it.
I know, I like
But
it
I'm
too.
with you. I'm not like, because we just got 3 new realms.
Yeah. When you said that, when you were like, oh, we got these. And I'm like,
You're like, no, we have to play it now.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
Oh, I don't really care about that.
Yeah, well, that's a good one. That's a good one. Number 2 for me is an Oink game that I was so excited about again last year. Played it a bunch and even kind of replaced some games for me personally, like Chaosmos and Galaxy Trucker, and that's Nine Tiles Panic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's a good one.
I loved that game, man. That was so much fun. We played it a bunch,
Yeah, we like never pulled
and
that
I
out.
never, we never
I
played that
actually
anymore.
wanted to play Chaosmos more recently. If I made this list a handful of months ago, I might have put Chaosmos on it. But for some reason, that's like jumped out at me recently.
Yeah, you've
Like,
just
oh, I
been
wanna play
wanting
that
back.
again.
Yeah.
I'd actually put that on this list.
What,
Yeah.
Chaosmos?
Chaosmos, you don't
Yeah,
want to,
because you cooled on it. Yeah. I know. Interesting. That's my number 2. Jeff, what about you?
My number 2 are all the Azules.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Have you played the newest one?
No, and that's
We have
that
it,
is
but
what
yeah, kinda-
made me put this on my list was that I didn't have an interest in getting that one.
Mm-hmm.
Where I had an interest in getting number 2 and number 3. And I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
And we even had like an Azul night
Right.
maybe a year
Played
or 2
them
ago
all,
when the
yeah.
third one came out. And that was really fun to play all 3 of them back to back to back.
Yeah.
But I just don't have that interest anymore. And the 4th one didn't. You know, maybe it does something really new, but I just didn't feel like I wanted
Yeah, you were just
to-
like,
to see
okay.
it or
Move
play it.
on
So
from Azul.
The
Damn it.
Azules are my number 2.
Cool.
Makes
All right, here we go. Number 1.
Number 1, don't be mad at me.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so number 1, I kind of did what Jeff did. I put crime games.
Okay.
So
It's not popular anymore.
It's not popular anymore. Crime was.
It was popular
it's
for a while.
funny because like
It's not anymore.
there was a while where I'm like any crime game, no matter what it is, I want it. I want to play it.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I still really like all those crime games, but for some reason, like that is not like if I see a crime game, I'm like, whatever. Like I'm not like I have to play that. Where that's how
Yeah.
I felt before.
Yeah.
So in that way, I feel like I've cooled on just like that genre in general.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. We ain't mad at you, girl.
Nope.
Number 1 for me, I'm disappointed in myself that I'm cooled with this game. Because when I played this with Jeff and Dave, Donkey Kong, number of years ago at Michicon for the first time, I was like, this has a chance to be my favorite game of all time.
Ooh, okay.
And every single time I've played it after that, I'm like, this game is so fucking awesome. I love it so much. It's so great. I want to always be playing it. I love it more than anything. And then the last like 2 years, I see it on my shelf. I never think to pull it out. And that's Letters from Whitechapel.
Yeah.
This game was the cat and mouse game to end all cat and mouse games for me.
It was.
I
It did
loved Fury of
perfectly
Dracula,
in the
but it
moment.
was so much better in a streamlined way. I don't want to say Mind Management has not replaced it for me because I still don't think I'll ever get rid of this game.
Right.
But I just, for some reason, it's just completely off my radar altogether. Even when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, I just don't really want to play it as much, you know? But man, in its day,
Man,
God, that game was
awesome,
so
tense.
great.
That game made me sweat more than any game I've ever played.
Yeah.
You sit there and you're just like,
Like, oh, they know where I'm at, probably.
they know exactly where I'm at. Oh, yeah, go that way, idiots. Oh, God,
Yeah.
they're not idiots anymore. They figured it out. Oh, yeah, go that way, stupid. Oh, no. And you just go back this roller
Oh, they're not
coaster.
stupid anymore. Oh, God, they're dumb again. Yeah, there's been games where I've played of that. I love being the cat in that game. And there's been games of that where I'm like, we've played like 10 turns in a row. We haven't found one fucking clue. We have not found the trail. We're
Oh, man, and then you find-
fucked. And then you get that one, and you're like, there's a chance. When you get two, and you're like, okay, I know he was probably at these spots 10 turns ago, but still, like, we did it. And then, man, what a cool feeling that is. But yeah, for whatever reason, that's just, I've cooled on it a lot. What about you, Jeff? Here it is.
My number one, not in maybe the same vein as Natalie's, I'm going to say that the exit and unlocks.
Yeah. Escape room games.
I've always wanted them right away. Cool, the new one's out, and I would get it, play it, send it to somebody, and now I just feel like I'm like, oh, there's a new set out, and I'm like,
I don't need it.
maybe not.
I'm over it now.
Because I do, and part of this might be because I'd rather play Chronicles of Crime, or I'd rather play another.
Does that extend to escape rooms, physical escape rooms too?
I still want to do physical escape rooms.
You do?
I think partly that died down because of COVID, and we couldn't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I've been wanting to, like,
Get back into
especially
it.
like with the four of us.
The four of us would be
Yeah.
great.
So fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
Because
love to do that
I had a
again.
good time in our one that we did at Gen Con, and that kind of
Rekindled the fire.
Yeah.
Okay. So just the escape room board game stuff.
Yeah, the escape room games.
Specifically those two, maybe, because they're same mechanically.
Right.
You know, you've seen it before.
And they are great, right? When you play them, you're like, these are just good. Like, how cool are they to figure out these puzzles and to do that? But I have a lot of Chronicles of Crime to play through. I have that new detective. I got the Batman detective. I have the Cold War one. So I have those that I would almost rather, if I'm going to spend an hour and a half playing an escape room game, I'd rather do the crime.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Man, a cool list would be something like that where, like, when Exit and Unlock first came out, what was like that?
I know nothing.
Oh my
it was like
gosh.
so
It was
And we were
exciting.
just like, give it all to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Give me
Every one of these types of
everything.
games.
I want to play every
can.
single one.
What other games have come out like that did that to us? That could be an interesting discussion at some point for a episode in the future.
102.
Do you guys have any honorable mentions?
Not really. No.
I had Sherlock as a specific one of like, playing Sherlock Holmes isn't one that's because there's other ones I want to play. I put Kemet on there.
Yeah.
I really want to play Kemet. Like, I want someone else to pick Kemet.
Yeah.
On game night.
Sure.
And then I had Sagrada as well as one that I'm kind of.
Oh, really? You're cooling on that? Okay.
Yeah, I don't want. It kind of falls in that Azul category.
Yeah.
There's other
Yeah,
games
I
I'd
see
rather
that.
play, rather pick on game night.
Sure.
Even like Guild of the Merchant Explorers is just not that they're in the same category, but a similar weight that I'm going to pull.
Yeah, I
way
want
more
that
than
every
all
time.
these other ones.
Sure.
Right.
So.
For me, I have Santorini. I loved the
You did love
fuck
Santorini,
out
'cause
of
it was
that
like a
game.
chessy feel.
Yeah, it gave me that chess feel. There was all these different powers you could utilize, and it just had this really cool way of it ending. And then I was just kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was good for a while. Also, Cascadia. When we first came, when we played that at the beginning, I was like, this is so great. How great is it? And it won the spiel, and I was like, fuck yeah, deserve to win that shit. And that's like, oh, okay, never really want to play. Anachrony is another one.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Played that three or four times now, and again, the first couple times I was like, "This is one of the best games I've ever played," and it's so good. And then Natalie and I played it, and I was kind of like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I played it a few times. That's about it." Nothing, Natalie, for you. You don't have any honorable mentions?
Nah.
Nah.
Well, fuck it then.
I mean, I could come up with some like Kingsburg. Honestly, okay, I have one, and I didn't want to say it, but I'll say
Just
it.
say it.
You just love
God.
potentially making us mad.
Okay, one that I thought of was Kites.
I almost
Alrighty.
spit my water out.
Well, that game, like, it is so fun, but I feel like almost like if you play with a group that kind of figured it out, then it's not as fun.
It can be a game that can
Like, you almost
quick.
like figured it out, you know, like, oh, this is how you like beat this game.
Yeah, totally.
And now it's like not as fun for me.
It also, part of it was the novelty
Yeah.
of playing it at Gen Con that added some of it to it. You know, it
Yeah.
was really exciting when, you know, we're at that restaurant and then we see the measles and then we're like,
Yeah.
let's play it right here. Like that
Or we play
added
it 5
to
times. With Ben
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I played it exactly.
Yep.
Playing it 5 times with Ben and M and winning on that last time. You're
Yeah.
right.
That's cool.
But that also has a similar thing where it's a game that you play over and over and over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah, like
and
a
all of a sudden you're kind of
party
like,
type
okay, like let's,
yeah,
I need a
like
break
let's go
from
somewhere
you,
else.
yeah.
Yeah, we've done that before. There's not a ton, you know, to go back to, but it's cool that we experienced it. At
yes,
least,
I really
you know?
enjoyed it,
Good.
but yeah.
Well, good. So that's going to do it for us tonight, everybody. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can find us on Instagram at Gamecasters or at Mad Board Gamer. Both of those accounts service the podcast. We also have a Facebook group. Just search Gamecasters and you'll find us there. You can also email us at thegamecasterspodcast@gmail.com. If you like the show, we'd love it if you consider giving us a rating on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen that allows you to rate us. We've also got a Patreon. If you want to support the show, feel free to head on over to patreon.com/thegamecasters. There's also a merch merch store where you can find all sorts of different Gamecasters, Mad Board Gamer, Gateway gear. So head on over to thegatewaynetwork.com/store. Please follow me and consider subscribing on Twitch at twitch.tv/Gamecasters. So, for Natalie and Jeff the Mad Board Gamer, I'm Ryan, and you have been listening to The Gamecasters. Good night, everybody.
Oh my god.
Are those real?
Yes. My
That's-
hiccups are insane.
Happening? Record this. How is this not?
I just turned it on. I just started turning it
Did
on.
they go away?
I was going to say, I'm like, I'll bet Jeff is in the bathroom. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I sure was. Woo! Woo!
I think they're gone.
They're gone. The second I turn the recording on.
Oh no.
That was good.
It's such a weird hiccup.
It is.
Usually people are like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's how I've always been. People think I'm like doing it at first.
That's great.
yeah, you just did the audio spike when that happened. Stop it, damn it. I'm talking.
Stop it. Stop. Knock it off, Natalie. Stop it.
Cut it the fuck out.
What's wrong with
I can't help it.
Stop hiccuping, you stupid bitch. Stop hiccuping, you stupid bitch. What's wrong with you?
You'd like that better than stop hiccuping, you stupid
You
wench.
stupid wench. I think if she stopped talking, she still would hiccup.
Oh, she would.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
stop
I would.
talking for a second. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
You No noise.
What?
Oh, that wasn't bad.
That wasn't one.
That was a normal person hiccup.
Exactly. It's like, hiccup.
It's not happening.
All right, you're done.
Phew.
Well, that was fun.
Phew.
Fuck it. Fuck you. Let's take some levels here. All right. You did.
You did what? No, that's cool, man. That's what for that? For this? No, I like that. That's great, man. I'm proud of you. That's the best. You're the best.
Levels immediately. Oh, okay, Natalie, do the same thing that Jeff did. See if you can do
Okay.
it.
You did what? Yeah, that's the dream.
That's the dream, man. That's the dream.
That's
for
so
this?
cool. I'm so happy for you.
Wow. Your life's great.
Man.
be great,
oh,
man. It's gonna be great.
Oh.
Oh my God.